No, not 200. No, like maybe like it's just starting. Like it's just the entry, so maybe 8K, maybe 700K. Yeah, definitely, really good. Man, I haven't been to any either. I mean, I've been trying to. No one comes with me. No, we got. It runs every 2 weeks. Next time it runs, let's go. I want to go. But you're gonna need to meet me in the city because I'll be working, obviously. Well, what's gonna work? Oh shit. Are those on fire? Okay. Okay. Well, wait. Well, don't take those yet. I'm gonna leave those. Otherwise, you're gonna have to come back. Oh. Martin, I really like you. I think like you drive and I mean like so yeah, I think you like I don't know. At first I thought it was well yeah, I don't know. I mean it's a small part. Yeah, you have like yeah. Yeah. It was interesting for sure. I honestly don't know. I could go either way. You know, most people are back in the town. People who aren't in town.
Hey Tony, we're gonna go back into the booth now.
Okay. I think I like it. I taught it since 17. No, no, nobody can just not talking to me. Just go over here. Things to talk about. Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. They will play if it's there.
Probably put on the trick where you do one of these, but then you how do you do that thing where you like get it on your or no, you take it out here and then yeah, you flip it over and like put it back in. Yeah, 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 that.
I don't know.
I've never seen anybody do that one before.
I learned it. I learned it like in high school. This guy who like I had this guy we played poker with. He had like a YouTube channel where he taught people to chip tricks.
Interesting. Okay. That's like where I learned. I think I learned all of my chip tricks in high school, basically.
Yeah, it's a fun one. And it's honestly like you can do this one.
That's the thing is I don't think I can. I'm not sure I'm using the right fingers to like turn it around.
All stars, all
But my
stars.
hands aren't very
Yeah.
big. It's like I guess I could go
Yeah,
in and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you turn it in the middle. Yeah, I think I just if I worked on it, I probably could do it.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same.
Yeah, this one I learned
My
very
first light
recently
down, but
actually.
you can get like old reliable.
Yeah, I saw somebody doing it and was like, oh, I think I understand that, and then tried to do it for a little while and was like,
Go
and
close
then I
all eyes
couldn't.
and see what's up for Maryland. All right, sounds good.
So we're about to start back up. We had a few difficulties. Unfortunately, I unwittingly gave an allergen to one of the participants in a smoothie that I made, so I had to deal with that. But it's like we're about to start up again. Um, Daniel too seems to be doing okay. Um, Jack and Christian are coming back up right now. Gonna give Christian one of my favorite pre-workout and mental cognition supplements. We'll see how he does. Maybe he'll also.
We need to talk about what happened.
I told them what happened.
Okay, I'm next on the list. We almost had a contestant uh, be not able to return because we fed him some allergens. No,
Yes.
we actually didn't know that. Well, I guess he didn't know that he was drinking.
Pure ground sesame.
Yeah, I don't know if you see at the bottom left, his ears are really red. Um, no, we had it before the last one, right there.
Oh, look at the ear shot.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
he's having a little bit of an allergic reaction, but he took some Benadryl. I think he's a slight dog in the game now, but I hope he's.
I don't know.
I hope he's okay.
Daniel's one of my students. We work together. I have confidence in him.
But have you worked through allergic reactions? Like what
I have,
lesson was that?
I have not, but we've been working on mental game stuff a lot lately. So
Oh.
yeah.
That might be. It's gonna come into play. All right.
Speaking of mental game stuff, so Christian, how much caffeine you normally take?
Whatever. Give me whatever.
I normally take half a scoop.
Okay.
But you
I'll
take
half a scoop.
but you take a ton of C4, so I don't know.
I'll take half a scoop too.
Yeah.
Just because I took some C4.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Wish me luck. Oh man.
Tastes better than C4 too.
Wow, that's hard to find.
So this is a pre-workout supplement?
Legion Athletics, yeah.
Legion.
I like it before lifting, but
Seems
it's
like I got time.
also just really good for I think general cognition and
Yeah.
you know,
Caffeine's underrated in terms of.
putting in the long hours at the commentary booth.
For sure. Cheers. Thank
Caffeine's
you.
underrated, you say?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, man. You take like five cups of coffee before you even begin your day.
Yeah. I'm not saying I underrate caffeine.
Oh,
I'm just saying I think caffeine is generally
what I meant, I think, is that people
enjoyed often.
people think that it's like bad for you. I think that's what I'm saying.
Oh, this is a really interesting card here.
I think it's gonna check through, which I don't mind.
Yeah, I think Matt definitely should not be checking here. This is just it's too good of a hand to. I think.
Did it check through on the flop?
No, Matt bet.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I like it.
You like the
I
bet?
could check from Matt.
A check from Matt, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we should see a call from Daniel.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the hands that call, you're behind.
Yeah.
Rather than do some bluffs with, this hand.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, where are we at?
So I think Matt, it's on Matt. I think he should be checking here.
Yeah, I think
And Daniel check
that
back.
should be check.
Yeah.
Ace high flops are so boring.
Yeah, they are boring.
They're just like someone's ahead and someone's behind, and usually nothing happens except showdown monkeys. That's my term today.
Showdown monkeys.
Yeah.
I think John and Mark would strongly push back from that label for what it's worth.
Well,
show me something then.
Yeah.
Like, all I heard was, well, I thought that hand had a really good showdown value. And then the other one's like, well, I thought that hand had a really good showdown value. Like, okay, well, then just gonna show down. All right, so it looks like the bright lights are on my man John.
Yeah. John bumped it up.
Bumped it up to 20,
something?
so it looks like maybe they put in a little
I think
straddle on.
Patrick's got the straddle on.
Yeah, Patrick has straddled most of his possible straddling options. So looking at the chip count again, yeah, we have John and Patrick with now 600 big blinds effective, and they're right next to each other. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see some big pots between them.
Yeah, John should be in prime position to start these 3-bets.
Yeah.
And like, don't be afraid to like include some hands like that are even outside of the construction, like because he's probably much better than like post flop than Patrick, and at least maybe that's what he thinks. If that's what, I guess that's what I would ask him. Like, do you think you're much better than Patrick post flop? And if the answer is yes, then that means he can go outside of the construction because he believes Patrick will make a lot of mistakes regardless.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see that with John, and I also imagine like for John when he's generally constructing his 3-bet ranges, because he mainly plays like live 2-5. His normally constructed ranges are going to be pretty exploitively wide, knowing he's not going to get 4-bet bluffed almost ever.
Yeah.
And also not 4-bet enough for value.
Yeah. So I would like to see like even hands like King 9 suited be 3-bets for him in position versus Patrick, and that's like wide, but it's fine because Patrick's peeling with 4-3.
Yeah, for sure. I think it just depends on, Mark's going to be aware of that dynamic, so you have to be careful with that. I think if Patrick, it's unopened to Patrick in the cutoff, and then it's John, I think we want to be 3-betting a ton.
Yeah.
But, when Patrick's in the hijack, now you have Mark on the button, I think including King 9 just becomes, Mark is just going to start exploiting John too much.
I guess I would see first if Mark is going to do it.
Okay.
Because if he doesn't, then we just really have the green light.
Yeah.
And that's way more valuable than anything else, I think.
Well, I think
So this is not great, but against Matt, it might be really good. Because Matt likes to overfold. But I don't know if he will.
But I think today he's, after hearing the stream yesterday, and also against Patrick, seeing him play.
It's not a good hand. It's not a good hand to do it with. It's not a good one. But if you're going to do it ever against anyone, it's Matt.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind a fold from Matt. Like, it's a huge 3-bet.
Yeah, I think Matt should be folding there. But actually, I don't know. I mean, Patrick.
It just depends.
If Patrick
depends
has
on what you
these
think
hands,
about Patrick.
Yeah.
He doesn't know as much about Patrick as we do.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know anything about Patrick.
Yeah, he did.
Knows even less.
Hopefully, he did see the pair of sixes. You know, 3-bet.
Yeah. But even like.
Now he just needs to say like, okay, like I have a king.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the time to. If pre-flop wasn't the time to fold, the flop is definitely not.
This is kind of a good card for him, but he doesn't know it. Well, not anymore. But if he would have, when you see the queen and he barrels, like that's kind of good. Because he's like pulling himself out a little bit more, and he has a lot of bluff candidates.
So yeah, Ace King's probably the worst value hand in his range there when he does that.
So. I think Matt has a good case to check back here.
Agreed. This is a pretty clear check back. Like the hands that you sucked out on pre-flop, like jacks and tens and stuff like that, don't necessarily call. And when your opponent has ace queen, he probably doesn't call too. So now you have to make a decision on like which street you want to get value, and you're probably just more incentivized to check back and like get thin on rivers, rather than like bet and then fold out all his other pairs. And also, like, some percentage of the time, like, Patrick bluffs rivers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the player type against whom I'm calling, like, a 5x 3-bet with a King 10 suited, I'm expecting to have a bluffing range on a lot of blank rivers.
That's a big win for Matt, though, there. Like, in terms of the overall session for
Starting part 2,
yeah. That's a big win for him.
So is the straddle just on?
No, it's off. Okay. Now. It's just Patrick's big. I guess Patrick was small blind though that hand.
Yeah, Patrick was.
That's a spot I'd be looking to call if I was Mark, just against
especially
Danny.
That's the thing. Like you guys, like when any of you think you have an edge on anyone, just take more spots. Even if they're like slightly thinner than whatever, like King 7 off is not gonna print a lot of money, but if you have an edge, then maybe you can cause some mistakes by your opponent, and even like that edge increases by street. So the better you are at your opponent post flop, the more small EV spots you can take pre flop. Even some negative EV spots can turn into positive EV spots if you're deep enough and your opponent makes massive blunders post.
Yeah, I think this is a spot where, like, even for just 6 more, King 7 off is clearly, like, a fold pre-flop. But, like, what you're saying is, like, you're gonna even out of position have an advantage post-flop, so that balances it out to maybe become a plus EV spot.
Right.
So, similarly, I think I would think you'd advocate for Mark to open that 9-5 offsuit from the small blind
Versus
versus
Matt.
Matt. Attack Matt's big blind. I would think.
I'll
that's-
probably at least limp though, and like think that
Yeah, limb fold.
yeah, at least get involved in some facet. 9-5 off just plays like shit.
It does play like shit, but King 7 off does not play so great against another gun open. So
For sure. Yeah, I think this is a 3-bet by John here.
Yeah.
yeah, I think he will. Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to play post flop against Patrick.
Yeah, but just like make it
And he doesn't-
25
Yeah.
and like just
I think-
knock out
Exactly. Yeah.
knock out players and like be 500 big blinds deep in a spot where you could potentially stack this guy for all of it. Like now, like we invited Daniel into the pot, which is
Oh yeah, especially with the straddle. I think we want.
no, there's no straddle.
No, that's not true.
He opened a 10. Maybe there was a straddle.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's still open to 10.
100% a straddle. Yeah.
Oh, so definitely 3-bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a layup.
So we see a quick fold from John there with a 7-6 suited. Especially when they're playing the pot, I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good instinct and no need to linger on that. Good call from Daniel.
We've
Patrick
also seen
needs to
Patrick
just-
make some much smaller bets.
Patrick needs to double barrel this turn.
Oh, you're missing
Yeah.
so much value here.
You're missing value as well as the potential of like just winning a bigger pot when you get there.
Yep.
You also get check raise at a very low frequency. You could also defend versus check
Wait,
raise.
is Patrick? Look like Patrick wants to check back the river. Okay, glad he's not doing that.
There's this. So this is what I'm saying. There's this constant propensity for these guys to not want to get check raised off equity,
Yeah.
and it continues to show over and over again. And
Just
like,
dragging smaller pots.
yeah, you're just dragging smaller pots. You're putting your opponents to easier decisions overall, right? So he
Yeah.
does make the calling mistake here on the river, but a mistake is also like
I don't know-
debatable.
I don't know if
I'm not
it's
saying.
against
I'm not saying.
Patrick,
I'm
yeah.
saying because in this specific hand, like you got him to make a mistake. You got what you wanted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was like you got to call on the river.
For
Right.
a very small bet. like
Correct.
30 into
But
80.
your overall strategy now suffers because now what is your double barrel range on the turn? Just like bluffs and nuts, right?
Or like
so-
more vulnerable hands.
Right.
Ace
Yeah.
King no.
Ace King no club
club,
maybe,
yeah.
but like that hand can't even defend against a check raise. So
Right.
like now you just have like a very pulled range on the turn. Like
Yeah. I think that's a big mistake that I see a lot. Like taking a hand that has a lot of equity, and not realizing how important it is to put it into a bet call range.
Mhm. Right. And you're just dragging smaller pots and your opponent's just it's just like you're just like playing too like you're making your opponent's decisions overall easier and that's not good. Like when you barrel turn and your opponent has a king there, it's not that easy, right? Because you can have better kings, you can have flush draws, you can have nuts, and now it's really hard for him to defend. Whereas like when you check back, he gets to realize that small amount of equity he has, and like he's a lot more comfortable overall. So yeah, I would, but I think to the bigger point is like John needs to just
John's in a
his mindset needs to be 100% attack Patrick.
yeah.
Like
and
every single spot he can.
And they're about even stacked now. Patrick had about 2K at one point, and so, the satisfaction of being up $700 is a lot less when you were up $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peak incinerated. That's what we call it. You incinerated your peak. You're upstock. That's kind of common now.
You're
Up
up
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
That one's common though, so we had to pick another one.
Peak incinerated.
Peak incinerated. Upstock is good too, but too many people know it now.
I think John should be getting some value here. Yeah. I think we'll probably see a call from Patrick.
Okay, I like this, but John, be willing to start bluffing if you need to.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the key. It's like,
That's bad.
yeah, I think this is.
Patrick should find some leads here, though. I don't know if this is the best one, but he should be looking to lead some of his 8s as well as some of his like 4s.
I think it's better to lead your 8s like this that have no like
Mhm.
flush draws versus like including like your spade 8s and diamond 8s and 2.
Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay. So yeah, John just has I think a very clear call there.
Yeah.
You know.
What happened pre-flop?
Limped and John checked the. Oh, John missed a huge value.
Yeah,
raise on
like
the straddle.
why not raising the ace versus a weaker player there that you perceive to be weak?
Yep.
Yeah, like John, like you just need to change your mindset a little bit. Like just have a more killer mindset. When you think, if I ask John, like, yo, do you think you're the best player in this game? I'm sure his answer is yes. Right? So it's like, well, if that's the case, then
Yeah,
prove it.
Get yourself,
Yeah, like,
get
put
yourself
your-
into more spots where you exercise the edge.
correct. Yeah, get yourself into more situations where you're able to exercise that skill edge. You know, and that's where I would kind of like challenge him
Yeah.
to kind of take his game a little bit further.
John recently admitted to me he's been watching too many run-at-once videos, which
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think anyone would recommend.
Nah, Run It Once is good, man.
Yeah, Reynolds is
I'm just
great.
messing. I'm just messing
Oh.
around. Yeah.
Run It Once is good. It's just that I guess I would. There's not a lot of 500 big blind live versus Patrick content out there.
Yeah.
On Run It Once, which is kind of a tough thing to do.
Man,
I
Yeah, I would love-
wouldn't 4-bet Patrick ever with this hand. But I also wouldn't fold it.
Good call, Danny. So like, the problem we talked about this yesterday with players were like, you can limp this hand, but you have to balance it by sometimes having a hand like aces. I'm guessing Danny's probably not doing that. Oh wow.
I also wouldn't raise Patrick with this hand.
Yeah, definitely not.
This
but-
hand also is very weird because the top bottom pair on Broadway ace X's play really weird when you're deep because on a turn 10 king or queen,
Yep.
it's shady. I'll just say that. It's just real shady. So I would just call, hope for like not those cards.
Yeah,
Deuce.
and this is a similar
Hope for
spot
deuce.
that we talked about before. Like I think in the 6-4 hand where it's like you could raise now, but like ace king's not folding on the turn. But
Right.
what you do
Well,
is
yeah.
shut down the bluff. So
Right, I
hope-
think he shuts down bluffs too. And
looks
Patrick has a decent amount of them. I
Looks
like
like-
that call.
Yeah.
I think the point is you can get the value on the turn.
That's a
And,
really good card. He checks. Okay.
Patrick checks. Yeah.
So now
I think if you're
you
gonna
need
play
to-
this hand like Patrick, I mean, it's a weird thing. Patrick has way too many hands here. It's okay, he checks. But if you're gonna barrel 5-3 suited on some turn cards, this is one to do so with.
Yeah, I think like I don't hate the check back, and I'll tell you why.
The problem though is that Patrick bet really big on the flop.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Danny tank called.
Danny also like looks different right now than he did in other hands.
He
I
looks
think
more confident,
the tank
yeah.
call doesn't feel like, oh, I've got queen jack. Like, should I call? Should I not? You know.
Yeah, I mean, the problem really is the flop bet size. It's just too big. Like you're really knocking out. Like Patrick's just not gonna continue without an ace. I mean, sorry, Danny's not gonna
Danny,
continue
yeah.
without an ace when you bet like close to pot. And
But that's okay. It could be a one and done. You know.
for real, and that's
Yeah.
that's kind of what I think
Oh, okay.
he was alluding to.
I would be happier double barreling on this card where we likely pick up some equity
And I think
on
Patrick's getting
if
fancy.
Danny had called more quickly.
Patrick might just I don't know, man. Patrick might just like pile it.
He's not just posturing. You know.
Yeah, I
He's
said
all
it.
in.
Patrick might
Like-
pile it. Call.
Yeah, and this is I don't think it's necessarily gonna work, but like
This is snap.
it should be a snap. But like Danny's on his second buy-in. You know. He is
Yeah, it's a
700
big bet.
behind.
It's a big bet.
Yeah, but you gotta assume that you're beating some value hands.
Okay,
Alright.
Danny's in.
I think he called. Think I run it once.
All right, Danny.
Danny.
So Danny becomes the chip
Makes the
leader.
comeback. And then let's see how Patrick responds to being stuck for probably the first time this whole session.
Stuck in his first time in his life.
Stuck, and I think, majorly up stuck.
Oh, peak incinerated. That's it. I don't know. He might just be stuck now.
I don't know about this peak incinerated.
You don't like it? Okay. I'll come up with a new one. You come up with a new one then.
I'll
Yeah,
think
Jack,
about it.
come on. Don't just knock it. What are you have to
You know, there's a process. First, you gotta evaluate the existing solution. I'll bring some proposals.
What I noticed a lot when I've played in LA before is like, I think
people really lose.
players' mind being up stuck way more than any other place I've been. It's like I saw one guy, he's like 4K in like a 500 cap 2-5 game, gets down to like 3,400. Really bad player, but was like locking up the win there, and then just like gives it all away in the course of like an hour and a half.
Let me tell you
you
who
lost $600 in a bad beat,
I'm gonna tell you who are the biggest nits. Like if you lose, like someone that loses like a really small pot and then starts counting how many chips they have. Like, dude, you lost like $25. Like,
Yeah.
just chill out. Like, you don't have to like start counting all your greens, recounting your black.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I actually I do a lot of we're on stream, so I guess I'll give a little bit. I do a lot of like reverse tell stuff.
Yeah.
Where like if I'm against someone that I think is a little bluff happy, I'll have those like little nervous reverse tells, or I'll count out my chips all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. The fake shake.
Yeah. Also, man, if I'm giving the speech, like
You'd never
I'm
have it.
so bluff heavy when I give the speech.
All right.
Unless I'm against you, and then I'm not.
Yeah. Danny, let's go.
2K.
Danny. All right. So.
Let's.
Wow, what is Danny's game? I want to know what Danny's game plan is because I'm not sure. Like, so the thing is that
Are those stacks of 20?
I think we need to be. I want to be like real honest. Like,
Yeah.
Danny should be like, poker's a game that you get much better when you're brutally honest with yourself. So I don't want to say, oh, Danny, you should be targeting these guys because you got all the chips. Like, if you don't have that capability, then don't do it, right? I've been a little bit more harsh on John and Mark to be like apex predators, I guess, in this game.
I like that.
How's that? How that was
Yeah,
good?
Apex Predator.
Okay.
That's a good term. It's I think
Yeah.
its superiority is evident.
Yeah, like they're supposed to be like the alpha regs, right? In these games. How's that one?
Also better.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but like if you don't have that capability, then just like stick with what you know works, and don't get out of line. Only like don't get chip drunk. Just stick to your solid ranges. Make sure you're not getting too out of line. Especially now that I think Patrick might just go off. And given the fact that he's on your left, he's gonna be super sticky.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe not on your. Yeah, he is on your left. He's gonna be like super sticky and like try to get unstuck. And if you're out there like with wide ranges that you're not really comfortable with, like you become like a target again. So just like be careful, be honest with your assessment of your own skill set, and stick to what you know is to be good. So as he, and I don't know this to be the case, like maybe he is very capable, and if he is, then take whatever I said to John and Mark and apply it to yourself. But if your skill set's a little bit less, just be very cognizant of the game flow now. Like now you're no longer a target, except potentially to Patrick, because he might be interested in recouping the lost amount of money that you hold for him now. I really don't like
Peak
the
incinerated?
silence.
That's what it's called?
Peak incinerated. I might come up with another one, man. I don't know.
Honestly, Upstuck. I think Upstuck is great. It's nice to have your own
Yeah.
phrases, but Upstuck is like pretty fucking
Upstuck's.
good. Yeah. So Daniel seems to be doing better.
I'm gonna apply Apex Predator to Mark and Alpha Reg to John.
Okay.
I like that.
I think
That's good.
I think they appreciate that. Yeah.
Wow, John put on the hood over the mouth,
Yeah.
outside of the hand.
That seems to be an alpha reg move.
Yeah,
these
but
days.
outside of the hand, I don't know if I like it. Like that's kind of, it's a little too much, man. Like.
I think he needs to move his arm a little more diagonal for his other shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. The coffee plus the.
He's giving so much away by showing his mouth right now. He should really cover that up, I think, before it gets too bad.
So okay, these two, the two more pro players should really understand. There's a lot of dynamics going on right now.
Yeah.
Them two should be targeting the player that just lost, like a lot of chips.
Yeah.
And now it should be like full blown attack. Like it was already, but now it's like you really need to this is the time that you win all your money.
Also, I think
we
against Danny too, probably a little less experience playing a million big blinds deep.
For sure. Yeah, very, very true. He has 1,000 bigs.
So do we see?
This is last hand, I think.
This is the last hand of the stream?
No. This is
the cards aren't
these are the
correct?
cards from last hand. I don't think this is
Okay.
last hand.
Alright, so we apologize. The graphics are most likely to be incorrect right now.
Yeah, it looks like Mark did 3-bet.
But he's very likely not to have this hand.
Yeah, and I think Daniel's also unlikely to have a 9-4 offsuit.
No, they're finally G'ing up. They're finally in there.
So it looks like Danny probably limp called a 3-bet.
Good fold with the 9-4 offsuit.
Oh, he limp 4-bet.
Oh, limp re-raise. Go, Danny.
Oh, wow.
This is always aces, I think. I would love to believe it's not.
Mark kind of snap folded.
Yeah, Mark gets out of there.
I would really like to know what they had. But, sometimes it doesn't
Maybe
really
Danny
work.
just had it. He just had the ace 5, the GTO aces. He had GTO aces, bro. He did it. Proved us all wrong.
Is that your nickname for ace 5 suited GTO aces?
Mhm.
Okay.
GTO aces. I have a lot of little terms.
Yeah. No, we've noticed. I enjoy it.
You don't agree that that's GTO aces? Just like 3-bet, 5-bet.
I mean, there's stack sizes where even if ace 5 suited is your only bluff, if you're doing all 4 combos, you're over bluffing. You know. So.
Yeah, I like 3-bet or GTO aces better than my normal term, which is the canonical 5-bet bluffing candidate.
Oh no.
It's a little
GTO
it's a little
aces
dry.
sounds way better.
It's a little dry.
GTO aces is good.
You could just go down the line too if you're like really feeling it. Like GTO kings, it's like ace 4. GTO
Alright, so
queens,
Matt.
like.
And taking a flop in position against Patrick with I'm gonna guess ace jack offsuit. Not positive, but
So it comes like another 3-bet looks like coming. Oh wait, are we at the flop already?
John folded king 10 offsuit. Matt calls on the button with the ace 7 offsuit.
And then look like Patrick check called.
Go to this cam. Maybe.
One. Yeah.
Because there's a board, but we can't
We
see
got-
it.
we got
Oh, we
the
got
board.
the board. Okay, I apologize. Matt. So Matt bet flop.
Yeah.
And
Matt called flop.
Matt called flop.
Are you
Bet.
sure it wasn't check call?
All right,
I'm
we
pretty sure.
apologize.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm
like
almost
it
sure.
looks
I'm
like
almost
this
sure.
is
Probably,
catching
yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
I think he called the flop in position.
And now is Patrick check raising? Or it looks like Patrick is check calling.
Yeah, Patrick's in a really dangerous
Oh,
spot in this game.
He is racing.
Yeah.
Oh, and Matt insta folds.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah.
That's not like I get it. Like I know how you feel, dude. Like you were balling out of control in this game, and now these young bucks got it. They got the 2-pair while you were the only one giving real action. You're up all the money, and now you're stuck. What the hell just happened? But you need to understand that that means play tighter. That doesn't mean play looser, because they view you as a target. And I know it sounds like all like psychological stupid talk, but it's true. It's really what's happening in this game. And I'm sure that your biggest losses in your career have come in this dynamic, where like you've started off hot, lost the pot, and now these guys are really not giving you a lot of action, or at least you don't think so, and now you're trying to press the issue, and there's a really dangerous situation for you. So just be mindful of this. Maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm right, just you'll thank me in like a couple years when I saved you like 20k.
So this is a spot where it looks like Daniel's just made it a small raise here with ace-3. I just prefer, I think, check. I don't know, actually. He's in the big blind, not the small blind.
I would check it. I don't think
it's
Patrick's likely to
thin.
fold.
He's not likely to fold, but ace-3 might be ahead of that calling range, you know? It doesn't play that well, but
Yeah,
I think it's close.
I wouldn't fold an ace to Patrick in this game right now.
no, I'm not saying fold.
Whether you should raise the
he
big
had,
blind
he
or
had the
not.
option in
Oh.
the big blind.
Oh, it was limped.
Yeah.
I'll probably just check. Like, I don't think he's limp. Yeah, I agree. Like,
but he's limp calling 4-3 suited, so it's like.
Yeah,
Well,
but he's in position. You have a shit hand like that.
yeah.
Yeah, just-
also like a really good spot where like where it comes an ace, he doesn't think you have an ace, and
right.
Patrick's
It's
liable
nice
to
to have
like
some aces. Like,
yeah.
Patrick's liable to just like triple.
So I don't love I don't really love the turn barrel by Daniel here. I think Patrick is like sticky player. You turn no equity, you just kind of give up here. And honestly, yeah, on the flop I can get behind it. You raise pre-flop, like just kind of win the pot now, clean up your equity. But I think on the turn we have to shut it down.
Agreed. Man, you guys are taking all the notes. I'm sorry I'm not taking notes, guys, but I promise I remember all your hands.
Yeah.
well, Zach and I are gonna do some quick meetings with these guys after just to discuss
This is suicide.
what transpired.
So I think this is another thing where it's like, Daniel's been playing that many hands, knows Patrick is like loose here.
I think
Just kind of wants to win.
I think the allergies are coming in. For sure.
Take a look at Patrick.
This is crazy. This is just straight suicide. Like,
Is that what you want to see?
You said take a look at Patrick.
No, yeah.
So camera 2.
Oh, I see. I was looking at the screen.
Yeah.
like what part? Like, so Daniel, just remember this moment in time in your life, just right now. What part of you said, "I think Patrick's gonna fold today"? Like, what are you thinking right now, brother? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand what part of you said, "I think Patrick's a folder," especially after he lost a massive
Oh
pot.
wow, so Patrick just flats here.
Man, I really hope that he just checks and Patrick stuffs and then shows him the 9 of hearts.
So let's cut to Daniel real quick, see what he's thinking.
He's thinking
Yeah.
Dan-
Please check. Oh, just please check and win with ace high. Yes, it'll be amazing. Oh,
I don't
damn
think
it.
Patrick is.
I know, but it
Patrick
would.
bets pretty small. Looks like
I hope he calls it ace high with a worse ace high.
Daniel folds, yeah.
not so
Oh,
small.
Not so
220.
small, yeah.
So there was no way that Daniel was gonna win that pot at any point in this hand. Now pre-flop, never. Like, you have to, like, I think this table as a group, even from top to bottom, is really out of touch with game flow. Like, they're all like really good X's and O's players. But like, why are you raising Patrick? What made you raise pre-flop besides the fact that you had an ace? And what made you think that at any point in his hand he was gonna bet fold the turn? Like, those are the little spots that like really crush your win rate. So even if you're a winner,
3-bet fold.
yeah, like
Or no, sorry.
raise fold the turn, yeah. Like, what part of that? What part of your thought, like, analysis made you think that? And it's like that's a lot of, man. You just like gave off 100 bigs. Like, it's just like, that's not good, man. But whatever. We all make mistakes. I'm not here to. What do I know?
I'm not here to tell you about the mistakes you made.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of tilting for Daniel. You pick up jacks after just kind of making
that's,
a huge bluff, and yeah, it's tough, And in many ways, it's like having a really good mental game when you're winning for 6 or 8 hours. That's tough. That's really tough. But having a good mental game even for a few hours when things aren't going your way, especially you're dealing with other pressures, like maybe one of the hosts of the event like fed you something you're allergic to. It's tough,
I like this fold from Danny. Very good, dude.
Yeah.
Like, regardless if you thought about this or not, the two like kind of stronger players are in the blinds, and it's Patrick's button.
Yeah.
So that play is probably not gonna work. Very good. It's very easy to just like flick in the 2 or like just flick in the 8 with that hand, and I've personally been one to do that like too many times, or like I just like say like I'm winning, I'm the goat here, and like I'm just gonna raise, and it's like you're probably gonna get resistance from Patrick, and you're probably gonna get resistance from Mark, which is like not, you know, not the spots you kind of want to be in when you have the 10-7. But I think as he gets better, maybe you can do it. Um, and you know, just to prove a point, my man Patrick picks up the same hand and does it.
So it looks like John's making it 35 here, and reasons we said before in terms of like John sizing down his 3-bets a little bit. Theoretically that makes sense, but also like I think, you know, for Patrick, like calling one more green chip button versus cutoff, like that's just gonna happen. Like this is the bottom of his range. He's calling, so like 35-40, even if we're gonna be doing a lot, I think is good.
And to Patrick, like I think this you gotta just fold here.
They are really deep though. Like it's not the worst peel.
Yeah, but I don't think the depth.
Because John has a merge range, so it's like he's gonna be dominated.
Does he though? He hasn't shown it.
Oh,
well, it just, yeah, well.
I think he's had opportunities to 3-bet.
I don't think this is a spot where like.
I get it. I'm just saying it can't be that bad to peel with 10-7 suited, 500 big blinds deep with a SPR of like 13 or something crazy. Like, so I get it. Obviously, it's a fine fold, and he should fold. I'm just saying we shouldn't be that harsh about it. Like, if he had 10-8 suited, you would definitely call.
I'm gonna push back on this because like I think, you know, Patrick has the self-awareness to know that he's probably up against a better player who's really deep in position, and that makes it really bad because now you're opening up, you know, the door to like lose a huge pot with a really bad hand out of position.
Right, 100%. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Maybe he should just fold. But like, would you fold in that same dynamic?
In the same dynamic, yes, I would. I would never fold 10-9 suited. You know, I never fold 10 jack suited. 10-8 to me is on the cusp. Is on the cusp. Yeah.
Okay. I think
it's one of the worst. It is one of the worst hands you'd probably be opening.
Yeah, I'm opening 10-7 suited in the cutoff, so for sure. But I'm almost certainly folding it.
That's definitely fair. I don't.
If Patrick 3-bet me.
It depends on.
Right.
You know, it's like
So what you're saying is that you think.
Or if you felt like you were gonna be able to.
Yeah.
Right. So the more edges you have, that's what I guess that's fair. So like, if Patrick thinks that John sucks, then call.
Yes.
That's fair. If Patrick thinks that John is good, then fold. So it's up to your discretion, Patrick. Whatever you think of this young buck on your left, that's drinking coffee and covering his mouth with a sweater.
So I think we should definitely see a call here from Danny. Only one overcard. That's a great card for Danny. Ace of diamonds.
Very good. And
if I was Mark, I would just be shutting it down against Danny in the big blind here.
Probably. Danny doesn't like strike me as the guy that like peels wide. Yeah, just check. Just check down.
Have so many aces that'll never.
Just like check down queen high. It's like I know it's the bottom of your range or whatever, but he's like you're not getting a lot of folds with this line and given this board.
You're not getting enough folds on the turn to justify the bet, and once you check back the turn, even if you get checked to and you think that that's capped, like now you're not getting the folds from the 8s and such.
Interesting bet here.
So
I think it's kind of close.
So you think Danny should turn his hand into a bluff here?
No. I think you could like. No, he's definitely betting for value. I think. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think Mark could have a lot.
I guess
Mark could have a lot of.
Mark might call
sixes.
Here. Yeah, Mark called.
Mark called.
Oh.
No, Mark raised.
Oh, Mark raised. Okay.
Mark.
I think Danny should be like a little bit suspicious of that.
Yeah, not just insta fold.
Yeah, like don't like what do you have?
That's gutsy for Mark.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I think they're just too often like
maybe
if you thought, a sizing tell, but
if you thought that was gonna work, then you should have just barreled the turn. Like
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't
Well,
know
no, well,
why.
maybe it was he doesn't know what his range looks like, and then he picks up something on that river bet. Maybe it's physical, maybe it's bet
Yeah.
sizing, like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we can't tell from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that cameras don't show.
But I
That being
think we all
said, if
agree.
we look at Mark and we look, he's staring at Danny down, and paying attention. You know.
Mhm.
I think we all.
And Danny does give like he has different motions. Like so,
Yes.
Danny, I know you're probably gonna listen to this. Like, pay attention to the way you looked when like earlier in the stream, and pay attention to the way you looked when you had Ace 4.
Yeah.
It was, at least to me, it looked different. Oh, Danny, Allergy Dan.
So I think we're gonna see a 3-bet from Daniel here, and curious to see what John does with Ace Jack.
Should probably fold to Danny, to be honest with you.
For 4x.
See what Patrick does for us.
6-4 has treated him very well.
It's interesting though because
Like you said, if you think
if
Daniel's
you think he's
polarized,
pulled, yeah, but like Danny hasn't really done anything today.
yeah.
She's been like a different human.
But he's been John definitely watched both of the streams
Mhm,
last time, and
mhm.
he played in both events last time. He's seen Daniel now, make that 3-bet.
They're also not that deep with the straddle.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not that deep. It's a good fold.
Yeah.
It's a good fold
Yeah.
for sure. So I would like to see John Peel if we were like deeper. Like if we were like 200, 250.
Honestly,
peel.
the way Daniel's playing, I think Ace Jack suited's a call.
Ace Jack suited is a call for sure.
Yeah.
I think Ace Jack suited is a call right now.
Yeah, yeah. that's
Oh,
what I'm
okay,
saying.
yeah.
So no prop bets have been made yet. I'm still pushing for it.
What are we?
Yeah. What do you? You haven't
what are you
proposed
proposing?
anything.
We can bet on like if people are gonna fold or call.
Oh yeah.
Well, we haven't had. Yeah. We'll wait for the next.
Yeah, in
next
like a big
tank.
spot where there's like a tank.
If Daniel's just gonna fall over his chair. What are the odds on that? It has to be less than 1 in 100.
We got 2 gut shots here.
Check fold.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
Probably rather just see Dan just bet
Yeah.
himself.
But we're against Patrick. So like I think normally with that king high and with the gut shot, I like leading out blind versus blind. But I think exploitatively we're just gonna be under bluffing Patrick here and just fine check folding.
Yeah, probably a
There's still-
good spot to underbluff.
Yeah.
Under
But
buff, yeah, but we've got a gut shot and.
might have the
they're
best hand.
just- Yeah, well.
Well,
we
very
might have the best
likely
hand,
have
but
the
like
best
we're
hand.
not
Yeah,
gonna
we
if
want
we're
the
not
best
gonna
hand.
check call, we might as well pretend we don't have the best hand. Like, so I think. What's Patrick likely to do with like 9-8 fold? But then if we check, I think he would bet.
This game just got like Danny winning that pot changes everything. Like everything
Yeah.
changed.
And the thing is, like, the check raise by Patrick wasn't good, but like when you make it 40 against like the straddle limp, and then bet the ace high board, like against Danny, it's gonna work most of the time,
Yeah. I don't even think you need to bet so big on the flop.
No, definitely not.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
I was
Wait,
saying
why
wow.
did-
I was
why
saying
did
wow
he
if it's
3-bet
Daniel.
this hand?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's,
think this is just
it's pretty light.
might be a little frustration from Daniel on the button here.
I mean, like whatever. Like I know I like preached trying to attack, but like have King 8 suited.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
Just have something half decent in your life.
So I like the sizing by John here exploitatively. Normally, I think we want to go like 4 to 5x plus calls out of position when we're this deep.
Danny's gonna cost John a lot of money because there is no way that Danny feels like good right now. If he got 3-bet, just 3-bet, he would have
Yeah.
felt way better. Just lock up the win, Danny. Yeah. So Daniel, like I know you're trying to attack. Your mindset's in the right place, but just have higher equity hands. You have a lot to choose from in that exploitative book. Johnny.
This has worked out poorly for John
Yeah, because of Daniel.
because of Daniel.
Like Daniel really
Yeah.
kind of changes the ranges here. It's gonna go bet, probably a call from Danny one time, and then it's just gonna be a shutdown.
Yep.
Yeah, Daniel, like real quick, like just King 5 suited. Like, I know if you want to attack him, just like have suited hands.
Yeah,
Like-
but and to Daniel's defense, it's definitely I think a good instinct to be like
Yeah.
doing a lot of 3-betting against Danny specifically.
His mind's in the right place
Yeah.
for sure, 100%. I like where he's at.
So I think John should bet again for value clearly against Danny, and then I think Danny should fold his hand on the turn. He's gonna have pocket nines here. He's going to have a bunch of king X.
I think he could even have kings.
Yeah, you could have kings.
Yeah, he could have kings too.
Ace king.
And ace king.
Yeah, ace king especially.
Yeah.
King queen suited.
Yeah, 3 combos.
King jack
suited.
suited. Well, no,
Not
no,
king
no,
jack
no,
suited.
no. Sorry, I forgot it was a 4-bet pot. I was thinking it was
Yeah.
a 3-bet pot. Ace king mainly.
Ace king nines, kings.
Yeah. Aces.
Some flush draws are probably better continues on this than queens.
And I really like this bet sizing against, ace king. And I guess Danny probably doesn't have king queen suited there, especially with the dynamic.
No, I don't think
yeah.
he has king queen suited, but you could have aces also. Which is a pretty awesome hand to have.
Danny has aces. I think Danny
have
could
some
have
aces. Yeah,
aces,
you could
but
have-
like,
not all
but he
aces.
doesn't. Like Danny would need to be real hood to have aces there. Like that's a really good hand to like throw in there, and hope that Danny just goes crazy.
Yeah, I think
Daniel goes
that's-
crazy.
Yeah, that's what I would be hoping for.
hmm
I think it's.
Then it just goes like shove, shove.
Yeah.
Aces. Oh, the hood is back on the mouth. Yeah. I'm okay with that hand. It was a good hand. Obviously, I don't care too much about like what I would just call here, John. Like this is. You want to be doing most of your like light
merge
stuff.
value.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that much light stuff,
Yeah, but
It's
like you're too deep. That he's never folding here.
Yeah, so I think the exploit against Patrick is to not really be 3-betting light, just have like a pretty wide merge value
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
And then Mark here.
So I think exploitatively, even with merge hands, John could 3-bet even out of position against Patrick.
Yeah, we agree. But I think with a6 suited, it's not strong enough to be a value 3-bet even with that wider range. So it should just be a call.
I'm okay with Patrick just firing in the 4-bet here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Patrick needs to 4-bet here,
Yeah.
especially with how much he's going to be raising, how much he's going to be played back at. Jax is just too good of a hand.
Yeah.
You're on the button, so like Jax is way up.
So I really don't mind the call from Mark, just because I think Patrick has just so many hands here, and he's going to be able to see it 3 ways. Like this is a tougher spot, I think, for Mark against maybe like if you have like a tighter player on the button. I think with Mark I'm just going to fold because maybe some percentage he has a higher percentage of the time of 4-betting, but with Patrick it's pretty rare in terms of the range composition that it's going to go 4-bet from Patrick.
What do you think about this size?
Way too big.
Yeah, I think it's a little big.
Yeah.
I don't mind going a bit bigger with how deep they are, but I think
You're in
5x
position.
is a little big.
Yeah, I think I like between like 3 and 3.5x from Patrick.
There's small things like that like I would challenge John to like have a more defined plan of like how he's gonna construct his 3-bets versus Patrick, both in and out of position at 500 big blinds, and stick to it. Because like ace-6, like I guess I would challenge him to say, what is your like? How do you think you're making? Yeah, how do you think you're making money on that 3-bet right now? Like, are you trying to print folds? Because I don't think that's happening. And
Yeah.
if
You're gonna barrel him off. Of
are you
hands,
gonna
most likely?
right, are you trying to barrel Patrick? I don't think that's happening. So where's your edge coming from in this spot? And if you think he's peeling a lot, well then why are you constructing this way? I don't think Patrick's the one to 4-bet often in position. So I think that he's more of a peeler. So I would just like construct merge even out of position against Patrick. And that seems like counterintuitive to what I've been saying for the last 2 days. But it's just like understanding how your opponents react and then exploiting correctly. And it's like Patrick's a caller, so adjust accordingly.
So moving on to this hand here, I think this is just too loose from Daniel, especially with Patrick in the cutoff, John on the button, Jack 8 offsuit. I think you just got to fold this in the hijack. Honestly, even Jack-8 suited is kind of on the margin here from the hijack. When it's check to Patrick here, like, good luck. Like, you won, you cleaned up your outs. I think it's rare that bet's getting through with your image and everything. So I think you just be checking that hand back.
What's going on with Daniel, man? I feel like the wheels are falling off. You have like
He's
just
looking a little healthier.
yeah, just be
Yeah, he looks calm. It's I think it's hard for a lot of players where it's like, things aren't necessarily going well, and you wanna try to play your best and get into spots, and
yeah,
just
just
forcing things a little too
Got
much.
a double straddle.
you have to be careful, man. Like yeah, like
Mark looks
The-
so happy.
Yeah, Mark is like a
this is an interesting who's double straddled
Patrick.
Patrick?
Patrick.
Would have never known. I actually don't even hate this as a limp on the button by Mark. Some frequency.
Exactly. Danny just get queens again, just run into the deck. I think
A
Mark.
limp raise?
I think
No.
I think Mark should be limping here just because you have Patrick in the double
Mhm,
straddle.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Keep
this-
keep stacks as deep as possible in position versus Patrick.
Yeah, you by limping there, you almost ensure that you get to play a pot in position with the suited connector on the button.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
It's pretty exploitative, but
It is,
yeah.
but like
they're deep enough though. I think you can.
they're only 100
yeah,
bigs though
guess-
with the double,
I
right?
guess
Yeah, not
the
really.
double straddle. Because I don't know. I would maybe make a small raise, make it 25.
That's fine.
And I really like the sizing from Danny here. It's a little bit big, but he's gonna want to be doing this with other hands, and you're just super okay. Yeah, and Mark is a grand deep, and what do you think of this call here?
It's fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think against Danny, where if especially Mark's gonna feel like he has a skill edge.
It's fine.
He has
If
a ton
Danny makes a
behind.
mistake here, he gets stacked.
Danny's also been 3-betting a lot. We don't. Oh jeez. Okay, well it's over. Danny has been 3-betting a lot.
I
He's
think
just had it.
I think
you know?
Danny needs to check here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to just like check shove.
Oh, I feel bad for Mark.
Wow.
Why? He's about to win all the money. What do you mean? Why do you feel bad?
No, I
Turns
don't.
like the freaking 5 of bananas.
Well, just this is when Mark peels here pre, it's to probably not fold on this board.
Correct. Now Mark's
Mark can
decision
shove.
is, well, he should think about it because
I
what
would
is
definitely
is
call,
Danny
yeah.
is Danny betting Ace King on this board? Like,
would-
what is Dan's bets? Is he
I
bet
think Danny
folding
could
aces
fold- I think he might fold. I could see him folding aces.
I could see him betting
on
like
the double straddle?
I could
You
see-
just have it.
I could see him betting tens or jacks and just like instinctively and then like folding to a raise.
I would love to see. I mean, I would like to see him shove. I mean, I'm
I don't know. I think I prefer calling in
Yeah, this is
position.
a great board for Mark.
Oh, it is. It's an amazing board. That's why I think
he has
Danny should
Jack
check.
10, he has
Yeah.
8s, he has 9s.
Danny
He's got it all. He's got 2 pair. He's got the straights. He's got the sets. He's got it all.
Yeah. I think exploitively against Danny, I like calling just so you can see what
And
happens on a diamond.
Danny
and
also
just-
might not think Mark would have 7-6 suited here. Like,
Yeah.
so it's not clear that he has a ton of bluffs.
I don't
Hold
think
on.
Danny has any bluffs when he bets.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I would just want to put Danny to the test. See if he can if he calls with aces. Then
Wait,
like,
what is happening?
oh,
Mark made a
Oh.
not all in,
Yeah.
and then Danny
I
shoved.
understand sometimes doing that just to like look stronger.
And then for
I don't
Danny,
know.
that,
This is where I would
it's
just go for
trivial.
the-
It's trivial at that point for Danny.
I would just go for the throat here, just run it once. Just eliminate this guy. He ran it once.
Yeah.
Good for you, Danny. Good for you. Good for you, buddy.
Man, so Danny
Brutal.
takes down a big one here.
Danny.
Elimination of an apex predator.
Yeah. So we
Maybe
got,
I'm wrong. Maybe Danny's the apex predator.
Danny's definitely like he's eating well. He's eating well.
so,
Danny's the apex predator.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick analysis. Danny, you should consider checking this board. The board, it really helps the in-position player, especially in a raise 3 by pot.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to be checking some of your ace kings in this board. You're not gonna want to be barreling there that often. So to protect, you're gonna want to be checking some of your strong hands. Queens is like a really good candidate to do so. And then you just allow your opponent to make some betting mistakes, and then you can check raise. Now back to the fun. You're the new Apex Predator, bro. Like, holy fuck. Are you gonna color up or what?
Danny's got 3K in a 1-2 game.
Yeah.
Balling out of control. You know who's really mad?
Daniel.
Daniel. Look at Daniel's face. He's like,
Dude, we're keeping the double. They're keeping the double straddle on.
Yeah.
So we're playing 1-2-5-10 here.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a life, Danny. You almost didn't come today.
Almost stuck in Hoboken.
Wow, what a life.
You must feel pretty good about that Uber now.
Yeah.
Nice ROI on that.
Daniel with the
He's
big.
about to take one of the black cars back home.
Go straight to the city.
Yeah, straight to
Yeah.
the city. This is kind of an interesting. So, man,
Patrick's
I
on
don't,
the
I
double
don't,
straddle.
I don't know, man. I don't know how I would be constructing that 6-5 there with these two guys in position. Probably just like have some limps in there as well. I don't think you get to like raise too many hands there. Like that's a
No.
tough left that are gonna challenge you. So like have some limps. You're gonna
I would
have.
just-
Go ahead.
Well, they're sticking with 4x, which has been the standard. But when you get the straddles in the mix, like stacks or shallower, I don't think you need to keep that 4x size.
Yeah.
Like,
Agree.
just make it a quarter. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna play a lot of.
I just think
position.
6-5 suited is like a tough one there to make it a quarter with. You just get peeled.
Yeah, but
It's
But
tough.
you're in position.
That's why I think he was out of position.
He was out of position.
Yeah, he
no,
was out
oh,
of position.
no, I thought he was on the button.
Yeah, he was in the blind. He was like the
Oh,
first or
okay.
second.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
25
okay.
on the button.
I don't know.
Oh, agreed,
Yeah, I don't know
agreed.
what I was thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very different spot.
I like. I mean, in your limp range should have a lot of it at some frequency, but I prefer limping like maybe the majority of my 8-9 or 9-10 suited,
Agree,
where I
I'll
can
limp those two.
pretty comfortably limp call against most actions.
You might have to just have like a very mix, and that's super hard.
Yeah.
Danny opens.
Looks like Danny called the straddle. So
Oh.
yeah, I don't love that. I think when you have the double straddle out on these 4 blinds, you have a hand as bad as ace
Yeah, you gotta
3.
just
Pitch
pitch
it.
it.
And good job, Daniel. I think good bet sizing out of position again.
This is a really tough game for Daniel now. What I'm trying to say is like, I think it would be. I would just add on right now. Like this is just insane. I'm not sitting here with $500. Like it's just. Yeah.
I mean, especially if you feel like you have a skill edge on Danny.
This game's out of control right now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's how it normally goes here.
Like, what's happening? You guys are bored? It's like, all right, guys. Like, let's stop fooling around. Let's just play 5-10. You know what? Let's just play 1-2-5-10. Everyone put in the money.
Looks like the double straddle ended.
You're a nit.
Yeah.
You're a nit, Matt.
But I mean, to be fair,
I'm joking. Obviously.
these players, most players here are. We got some color ups going on.
It's like, nah. I just want to look like a freaking boss.
By the way, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I do not color up typically, ever.
I color
I
up
color
some
up.
reds. Yeah.
I can't
it's just
stand
like
it.
it's
I
kind of
can't
crazy.
stand it.
I love it.
I can see that. You got bullied when you were growing up or something? Like you want to show? You want to flex? It's like, yeah.
I just find I have like way more fold equity when I have giant stacks of reds.
I got bullied a little bit.
Yeah, I got bullied a little bit too.
I bullied. I'm just kidding.
Danny, Jesus Christ, what a life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Revenge of the Nerds poker players.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in crypto.
Oh, yeah.
That was the bet we should have made. Like, how long before the crypto?
Wow, this was like compared
was
to yesterday.
really long.
Compared to yesterday, that was
Yeah.
especially with the futures going today.
Yeah, because I'm scared. I'm trying to not think about it.
Yeah.
All right, Danny, what are you gonna do? So now, I don't know, Dan. I don't have a good pulse on Danny, man. To be honest with you, like I don't know if he's just getting lucky or if he's like
Well, I think he's-
elite.
He's surely getting very lucky, regardless of what you think of his
Right.
skill level. Yeah.
Yeah, like you've definitely ran above average. This is.
I think it is just too
You
loose
can't-
from,
you
from
can't.
John. You just gotta probably fold, maybe limp fold.
I don't think you should 3-bet here, brother. just flat.
If he was deeper,
Hand's too good.
if he was deeper,
If he was deeper, I'd like the.
Yeah,
3-bet.
for sure.
yeah, but
Yeah.
no,
Hand's
oh
too
yeah,
good.
it's way too good. It's way too good.
Oh, I see. He's trying to knock out Matt.
Still, just not deep enough.
Not gonna
Cold 4. See ya.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to induce 4-bet here. Like blinds, like stack sizes are such that it's like 100 bigs, and if he has ace queen, like you want to get him to pile it. So not 200's too big. Pull some of those back.
Yeah, I like
Like,
175 maybe. Yeah.
No, you want to see like you have fold equity to the 5-bet.
140.
So yeah, like 140.
Yeah.
I think he made it like 190.
Yeah, like you're never 4-bet folding. So that's the thing. Remember this, Matt, when you watch this back. You want him to think if he 5-bets that you can fold. So think about the size that you would do this if you had ace queen off, or like, I guess you would have to call with ace queen off, like ace 5, right? You want to 4-bet and then fold, right? So 140 allows you to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas like 190, if he stuffs here, well, you already have like 2/3 of your stack out there. Like you might as well just call it off.
Yep.
So like, and Mark is good enough to understand that that's the case here. You're never folding, so he's just gonna fold. So yeah, there's a sizing issue there. I like your thought of 4-betting. Just think the sizing needs to be a little bit more crisp. And in Mark's perspective, I think like your hand's just like really good, and you should have just called free. You would have got blown off anyway, but whatever.
No, he would have. I think. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, he gets
that's what
3-bet.
I
He
say.
kind of has to fold because he's out of position.
Yeah.
His stacks are like pretty shallow. John has the right mindset though, in terms of like trying to find spots to be more aggressive and looking for spots to attack. I think the game could potentially turn in his favor very quickly, because he
Mark's
has
not a threat anymore,
Mark is just like
so he's
he
less to worry about.
right. It's just like he's like Mark's like a wounded predator. So yeah,
Wounded predator, I like
right.
that.
So now I think John's mindset needs to be like, okay, let's attack Patrick. Let's see what Danny's made of, and let's just really go after it. So yeah, I think John's potential is really high too. There's a lot of people with a lot of potential here. I think all of them actually, like every player here at this table.
So we see Daniel raise Jack 8 and hijack for the second time in a row.
Yeah,
I
just
didn't like it the first time.
Yeah, look what happens. You're just getting peeled in position by the person I told you was gonna peel you in position.
oh no, so
Oh, never
so
mind.
Matt,
Called from the big blind. Matt, you should probably start checking this turn. I know it's like tempting to like go for value, but like this is like a really nice hand to still have in
so I'm a little confused
your
what happened.
value
Did you go
range?
check on the flop? Right?
right. I think so.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think Daniel should just be betting.
Yeah, Daniel, if you raise Jack 8, I think you have to bet it. And now looks like Daniel raised and then Matt insta folded. Yeah, you should not be bet insta folding Jack 9 against a player like Daniel here.
10's gonna be a really, really awesome card for you.
Yeah.
That's what I think he should check. You have to be careful about. It's really out of position in that spot, like. So this is what I'll say. Like that's a really good candidate, to like having your check calls, and you have to think about what you're targeting when you bet. So, and like how much of that range do you get value from, and how are you gonna play on numerous rivers? And I think that hand, Jack 9 there on that turn, is going to perform rather poorly on a lot of rivers.
Yeah, it's
Especially out of position.
you're not gonna know what to do when you get
Right.
called. So you're gonna have to do.
I think you could bet like ace 9 because now you get clear value from a lot of his like check back showdowns. And then that hand just plays a little bit more cleanly, I think, as like potentially another value bet or a check call.
Whoa.
So
Oh man,
Oh, God.
what is happening?
what's happening is.
So it's limp, raise,
Oh,
3-bet.
what? Okay.
Danny cold calls the 3-bet. Mark is just like,
Damn.
Mark is
go to Mark's camera for a second. 2, yeah.
No, so Danny limped?
Danny
Danny
limped under the
limped.
gun with King 10 suited.
cold calls the 3-bet.
Yeah, I don't mind the limp.
What
It's
a
part
life.
of a wider limping range.
What a
but
life,
you,
Mark.
You gotta
Just-
fold with another player behind.
What a life, Mark. Just get stacked and then just find the birds.
And
Just-
I think Matt needs, with these stack sizes, again, I think Matt needs to go with his hand here pre.
Yeah. Or
Limp,
no, it was
raise from.
oh, sorry.
So it was a limp, raise from Mark, 3-bet
From
from
Matt.
Matt,
Call from Danny.
call
4-bet from
4-bet.
Mark.
That being, yeah,
Mark is.
I don't know, man. Mark is fucking stuck. Like, he might be like, let's
Yeah,
go,
I would.
dude.
I
Like,
think I would just go with
Like,
you
that.
have to go with it.
whatever.
Also, if you call, you bring Danny in, and maybe he's like, you want to be with the worst player, but then you're not closing the action with your hand, and it's
this
hard.
is a weird
We're a
hand.
little desensitized to how deep they are.
I
Well,
just
Mark,
think-
Mark only has 300 left, so I think.
I just think Mark.
Right, but only 300 is still 150.
Fine,
blinds.
but like if you flat here, understand it's a trap. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you're
Yeah.
flatting because you're scared.
No, you're
You're flatting because like you're trying to keep the guy in
and Danny.
that
Like
might be
did-
going off.
Well, Danny, and you try to keep Danny in with a wide range of hands, and
Oh well.
Right? I mean, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I think Danny.
I
should-
like this fucking check a lot. This is just trapping money in with the
Oh,
birds.
Matt needs to bet. I think this flop. Matt really needs to bet here.
Oh, okay. I think
I
it's
like
like
Mark's check.
Well,
a lot.
I don't think Matt has made a decision
no.
yet.
I think Mark's check is. This is why I think this guy is really good, because this check is amazing. Like I would.
Yeah, he doesn't need to protect.
I love this check. Oh wait, what are you doing? You didn't do it.
It looks like Matt bet. Danny folded.
Oh, so wait, Mark is the button. So the positions are wrong
The
here.
position's wrong.
Yeah, there's a button in front of Mark. Is that the button right there?
That looks like the button.
Yeah, so positions are off. Okay, so that obviously changes things.
I would prefer a check back from Mark here. He just is. He has less than a pot size bet left. He's not going to have any trouble getting
Could-
stacks in.
Could check back too, yeah. I guess
I don't mind ripping it. Like
it's fine too. Like you're trying to get value from like pocket tens or something.
if you had ace 5, I'm ripping it.
hmm Yeah, I mean both. I think the check back's like cool too with this specific hand, obviously. Matt just has a call here all day.
Yeah.
It sucks. Nothing's gone well for Matt today, unfortunately.
I don't know. I mean,
no,
like
the hand's not over. Like the queen.
nothing's gone well. I think like results wise, but I think Matt
Right,
has
results-wise,
definitely
yeah.
definitely played a lot better today than yesterday.
Oh
He took it to
yeah,
heart,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the crazy part about poker. You played better today, but you're still very unlikely to win this hand unless he finds the fold button. That would be impressive.
I don't
Still-
think it will be impressive. I think it'd be a bad fold.
No,
Just have-
I know.
you
Just be
yeah.
impressive for your bank.
Yeah. So Matt makes the call. Danny finally makes the fold.
Once or twice.
Once or twice. I have aces.
I have aces. Sure, whatever, dude. I'm just trying to find a queen. Sure, you want to run twice? Okay, fine.
And
Which
yeah,
cards face?
I still prefer Matt getting it in pre-flop, but if you're gonna like, yeah, if you're going to call pre-flop, you just have to get it in on this board. I mean, same thing with jacks. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's calling because he's trapping. If you think he had like, if you thought he just was nutted, like you can find some crazy hero Philhami fold.
Pre-flop?
Yeah, like if you
Yeah.
think he's like only 4-betting nut, which I don't think that's the truth, but if that was your
No.
read, then just fold. Now, if you're calling, it's because you're trapping.
yeah.
You know.
So what does our once wounded predator look like now?
He's like back, like he's not apex yet though. Like he's just like he
He's back on the hunt for
recovered.
the
He
first time.
recovered.
Yeah.
He's back. Yeah, he's back on
He's
the
not,
hunt.
He's not licking his wounds anymore.
He's back on the hunt, and like he's in the jungle yet, but he hasn't found any animals, and he's a little hungry.
He's not killing for sport yet.
Yeah, he's not just like out there like trying to like. Man, I would love to just see like Mark just turn to John, tap him on the shoulder, and say, "You want to fight?" And just and then just go back to peeling his cards. I feel like they're good friends, so like I just want to see like
Yeah.
them just gun for each other. Like,
Good discipline
Hello,
fold, Danny
Daniel.
with a 9-6 suited. I like the fold.
that was Danny. Daniel has ace king.
Yep.
He's a healthy 3-bet.
No, it's really large though. Like it's like your stack is. Oh, they're back to
They're-
the 1-2 game.
Yeah.
Back to
Okay,
the
cool,
1-2
cool,
game.
cool, cool. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, out of position, I like it. I mean, I think
It's
John-
been unfortunate for John that he's like every time he's like gone for the reins of the game, it's just like someone's picked up something.
And I really don't mind this 4-bet by John. We've seen Daniel getting like really out of line. We have another player behind. I think I prefer defending against this if we're gonna not fold with the 4-bet rather than the call. And I like this sizing by John where it's it's a little under 3x, allows us to very comfortably fold to a shove. I think we should see a shove by Daniel out of position here, especially with his image, the way he's been playing. So we'll probably see a shove and a fold.
I think it's fine also to call. It's fine. It's just like protecting some of your weaker calls.
Yeah,
I think you should
I think-
call at some frequency.
I think you can use ace king suited.
Correct.
For
That's
those
fair too.
calls. Yeah.
That's fair too. Well, wounded. Back to the sweater on top of the mouth. Can't let them know. Yeah, I agree with you then. I think that having ace king suited in the flat is good.
It's nice seeing people adding on with even with just a little bit of time left here.
The two predators are down for the count.
Yeah, Patrick's been. I guess he hasn't. Well, he wasn't getting much before.
Patrick
I wanna
has
see
a
Patrick.
different construction
Yeah.
than everyone else. And
Well, I think with Patrick, he's way more game flow dependent with him. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually
He's weathered like
he's weathered the storm. Yeah.
the upstuck.
The upstuck storm.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a couple hands right after where it was maybe a bit much, but that break, able to think like. I think the break is good just to allow people to kind of reset and play their best, but. Something I stress my students a lot is it's so hard to play your best without taking regular breaks for a long session,
These hands are overvalued in the blind versus someone like Patrick. Like
This
your
is
raises of
suited,
4x is not gonna work ever.
Yeah, just a limp call, limp fold depending on sizing.
Yeah. I would start with a bet here against Patrick. Just to like build it's for just like check raising it is kind of annoying, so let's just build equity. Let's like build the pot with a high equity hand versus this player type. Now I would just start checking.
Yeah, I like probably check raising this from Daniel here.
Your opponent has a decent amount of sevens though.
Yeah, I don't mind just check calling. Like I know
I just think
we don't
Patrick
want any
is gonna
showdown
be just
monkeys in this game, but
betting so
I
much.
think that
I'm
just
not a
not- I'm
showdown
not
monkey, and
messing
I
with it,
like
yeah.
I like check calling.
No,
yeah.
you need to be defensive, man.
No. Betting here is aggro. Like,
Yeah.
your opponent has a lot of sevens. Your range doesn't look like it has a lot of sevens. So getting raised here is like really annoying. And I know there's spots that I keep saying like, oh, you're not gonna get raised, so just keep betting. This is a spot you get raised. Like here you get raised.
you get
a
raised
lot.
and like you don't want to fold,
Right. No, you won't. You're gonna
Yeah.
bet call, and then like
and then you're gonna miss.
I
check,
really
fold.
would have liked to see Patrick consider a raise here.
Looks like he did consider it.
Yeah, I think he should pull it. Like this is a good candidate.
Yeah,
to
it
do
is. It is really excellent.
Yeah, like this is one of the right candidates to pull the trigger because your opponent has very few 7x's. Your hand has no showdown value. Your hand can't call. Where there's other hands that can actually call, like stronger draws, etc. And getting bet 3-bet off, like getting like facing the bet 3-bet is really not the worst thing in the world because your hand sucks anyway. So yeah, that's a spot to consider raising, Patrick. That's a good one.
So speaking of prop bets, I have an idea for one.
Okay.
We can bet on like percentage of chip count for some people in terms of it changing.
So like how much it will go up
So
and
just
down.
like
Yeah.
Okay, I vote that Danny. What?
No.
I'm just wondering what direction you're gonna go here.
All right, I'm gonna go down. Unfortunately, I love you, Danny.
How
though.
down? How down?
I'm gonna go down. How much does he have though?
We'll find out
He
after
has
this hand.
2.9K.
We're gonna have to.
Damn.
2.9K.
Okay, I vote that it goes down. Can you like up my percentage? Like
We
No,
can't.
well,
We shouldn't do it by percentage because like if someone rebuys, then everyone's
Okay,
percentage goes down.
okay,
Just-
just
yeah.
dollars,
Yeah, just give like a number.
a range or a dollar amount.
Yeah,
Should we just
okay.
crossbook?
just give a dollar amount and we can go.
How much time is left?
Not much.
40 minutes.
40 minutes? Oh, okay.
Okay,
40,
I vote
45,
that he
yeah.
loses. What?
Am I not allowed to laugh?
I should vote for something else.
No,
Patrick.
no.
So Patrick goes ahead and puts in a raise. I don't.
I like the bet call by Daniel.
Yeah, I like calling from Daniel.
I don't really see much value in raising here from Patrick.
I don't hate it.
He raised flop.
Oh, he has the backdoor not flush draw. He has this backdoor.
Patrick's
straight
playing
draw.
this hand great.
Yeah.
He raised flop with the backdoor spade bluff card.
Backdoor galores.
Now picked up at more equity. Just keep betting. You
Yeah.
block some of your opponent's queens. It's he's played this hand really well, man.
Maybe bet a little bigger.
Yeah, I'd bet bigger on the turn.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I agree too. You really pulled like he's really pulled to like queen or dust.
Is that an ace?
Looks like a 4.
Yeah, it does look like a 4.
So Daniel call again on the turn.
I'd probably just give up here. Like it's
Yeah, I don't love betting kind of small on the turn and river.
you're getting called. Yeah. Well, what happened?
You gotta make it bigger.
Wow, it
Oh,
worked?
Wow, got through.
Yeah, so I think this is a spot when you're Daniel, it's like it looks value-y, but like you're against a guy who's capable of bluffing, you're just getting great odds.
Yeah, everything whiffed. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like your opponent's not betting Jack 10 on the river, probably. So you're just worried like of a queen. Yeah, just flick it in, dude. Just like make him show you a queen.
I also think like
It's Patrick, dude.
yeah, a lot of
Like,
people
this
also
guy-
aren't value
this-
raising.
Patrick's wide. I think Patrick even would admit that he's wide.
Yes.
Yeah, so like just flick. This is where Patrick, like you can't overfold to Patrick. That's why Patrick gets paid, because like he's wide. Man, that hurt me.
Yeah, especially for less than half pot.
Yeah, he's just giving you a good price and like just flick it in, dude. Okay, what's going on here, Patrick? I usually like just flatting.
Well, I think when you're Patrick, you have to raise here.
Okay, I could be okay with that. I usually like flatting for me, just because it keeps my ranges intact and it allows me to like suited hands in position when I'm merged allows me to barrel much easier than unsuited hands. And like a lot of my strategies based on like barrels.
Yeah.
So, but like I think for Patrick probably he can add this into this 3-bet because he's perceived to be so wide, and like people just like snap raise calling king 10 suited versus him, which is good. Like Patrick's like very aware.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he's very aware. Leading, huh? Oh. Okay. So it is an okay spot
It's
to
a big
lead,
lead.
but
Yeah.
I would challenge you to like, was this your plan when you called? Like, was this why you called with King 10 suited versus Patrick? To bluff? Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's like that's my question to you. Like, was this the plan, or are you just reacting in this spot? That's really my only question. If your plan was this, then great. But then I would challenge you is like, is Patrick the guy you really want to start bluffing? Because he's having a really hard time right now with the bottom. So we'll see how this plans out.
He's also we've seen Patrick 3-bet sixes. Like, so I don't think we would ever expect a pair to fold.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
And so we're very narrowly targeting ace highs.
So I don't love the raise here by Patrick. I think if you're gonna feel like Daniel's like exploitatively wide here, then just flat in position.
It's
Ace jack
tough
high.
though, man. It's tough. I agree with you, but like
It's harder.
You're
to play.
probably
it's
much-
harder to play on later
Yeah,
streets.
you're
but
probably much better in future streets than Patrick. You
Uh-huh.
know, with your experience.
Yeah.
I think for Patrick specifically, I like him raising
Okay.
because like I think he could potentially make mistakes on future streets when he faces like a double on like a brick and he just
Yeah.
like folds. You see what I'm saying? Where you should just like call again.
Well, I don't know. I think if you face a huge double barrel on a brick with ace jack off, you can fold. Even if you think Daniel is like light a lot, you're gonna have so many better hands to call down 2 or 3 streets.
That's
with.
fair.
So, whoa, did Daniel call?
Yeah, those guys.
That's.
They're balling right now.
Yeah. So I think again,
This is a dream.
This is another,
What a dream card. Just like check call for the nuts.
this is another thing where like if you're Daniel here, I love like
Wow.
and you're thinking Patrick is
Just
super
jack.
wide,
Just a jack.
Oh, okay.
just like then jam the flop. I don't think you should be jamming the flop, but like if do you think the king high is good here? Like it's I don't know.
Daniel's struggling right now. I really think the allergy thing is affecting him.
Yeah, I
I'm
think it's
I'm being
unquestionable.
honest.
It's
Like
unquestionable. I think.
he's struggling.
Now
like,
this is an odd bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is a value bet. It's just way too thin, and when you were, it's like if you think Patrick is so wide on the flop that you can call, you have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to get to the point on the river where now he has a lot of value targets that I can target. You know, like if you feel like he has those hands, then just
I would
fold
just
river.
like check call the river.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really crazy hand. I don't mind Patrick's raise though as much as I know you don't even love it, but I think it's like whatever. Like it simplifies the tree for him, which I think is important for him. He just like you know he was supposed to win that. Daniel's supposed to fold, man. Like what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, I mean like
I also
you
would
can't,
tell
you really can't fault it. Like
for sure. I also would challenge Daniel like you know, I think he knows he's struggling right now. Okay, I would like to see John just 3-bet. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like just 3-bet. Like just
Yeah.
I know it's not in the construction. I know whatever, but like you got the chips again. Like you're covering this guy 500 big blinds deep. Like this is the exploit. And now you just let the other apex go after it. Like make him 4-bet you. Like you know? That's my opinion though. I think these are the spots that John needs to understand. Like he needs to begin to flex his muscle in these games. Like I understand it's part of an exploitative strategy. But you're 500 big blinds deep in what you likely to perceive to be someone that you're better than, or whether you're not or you aren't, whatever. But I think John thinks that, so he should look to build bigger pots in position with hands that he will play better than his opponent with, and that's the name of the game. Like I understand, like it's not part of like a theoretically good 3-bet strategy, but it might be good in this spot. Also, like, dude, Patrick just lost a pot and he's opening 5-4 offsuit. Like, how
Yeah,
bad can your 3-bet really be? Like, it's probably printing. Like if I saw Patrick lose that pot, and and the next hand he opens, and I have 2 Broadway cards in my hand, dude, I am fist pumping. Like I'm excited. I'm like, wow, we're gonna play a big one.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah, and this is a spot where it's like I think Mark is definitely good enough to pull the trigger on the cold 4 with the ace queen there.
mhm.
Many people won't.
But many people won't, and even Mark, like,
People fold.
let's say that's a good spot for Mark to cold 4 a ton of hands. He'll cold 4 ace queen, but it's an obvious candidate. But maybe like the right exploitative strategy in
Ace
that
jack.
spot is to have ace jack, and maybe like all your ace x suiteds. Mark might not do all of them. Like
Yeah.
there's just so much value for being able to ISO in
I
position.
actually like this 3-bet by Mark.
Yeah.
I know that like I've harped on like having more suited combos, but like I'm okay with you just like going after these guys. Danny needs to call. Or 4-bet. But I'd rather call.
I prefer calling here.
You 4-bet to 125.
That's good.
It's a big bet.
That's pretty strong, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just think of
if you're gonna bet, yeah, you should be maybe making it 75 or 80 here.
yeah, probably like or even 100. Like 100 is reasonable just because how deep they are. Wow. All right, Danny. Like you can't. Okay, you
Oh,
folded.
yeah,
Okay. This is just gonna work. This is just gonna work. Nice. Okay. I don't hate. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit. I'm gonna give Danny some props though.
Yeah,
In position, I think he should just always call 100%. Out of position, I think this is a good spot to consider throwing in. Like that's a bluff. Like just you have to kind of understand that you're kind of bluffing with high equity there. Especially if you think like that, just like throwing this into kind of like a merged bluff there, where like you're just going to like play this spot better this way. I think it's okay. Like, cause you're so deep that you can fold. Like if he 5-bet, like you can fold, and it's like it's obviously not great, but I guess what I would say is like you can do both. But if Danny thinks that he'll play better with the 4-bet there and make less mistakes and force Mark into more mistakes, then do that. The better you are post flop and the more comfortable you are playing without the lead, and you think Mark is going to make more mistakes that way, the more you should just like start calling. But it's not I don't think it's a mistake that for Danny to cold 4-bet king queen suited. They're 500 big blinds deep in a spot where maybe Mark continues with like other hands like 8-9 suited, etc. You know what I mean? Because he's shown to continue with like his suited connector range in position. And I think he will. Like I think if Mark would have 3-bet like queen jack suited or jack 10 suited, I think he would have called the 4-bet in position there. Maybe not to that size, but definitely to a more normal size. Man, I feel like when I talk, it goes for a long time.
Good.
You have a lot to say.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up.
Just kind of waiting for this one to develop.
Yep.
We're gonna see a flop.
I feel like Danny's intensity is a little higher now.
Oh, way higher, yeah.
I don't like this. I get it, but like you're betting this flop all the time.
Yeah.
I hope an 8 just drills.
I think we got another ace here.
I guess check now. I don't get this though. Okay. What is that, a king?
I think here I like checking if we get to the river this way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now you just hope and pray that your opponent has like an ace with
I don't know.
you.
Maybe just like
bet 3-bet.
just shove. I don't know.
Yeah, but huge, yeah.
He called. I would challenge.
Yeah, it happened to work out.
I would
best
challenge
against
Danny
this
to
exact
think
hand.
of like what is your opponent bluffing with? Like
You know, I think
you think he's like betting to get you off the chop? Like it's just like dude, like he has showdown value like every time he checks that board, like all the time. How do you perform versus that range? How do you perform? Like how often do you think he's bluffing here?
I
Like,
agree. I mean, I agree.
I know
I do think the king is a pretty safe card.
it is, but it's like your opponent. Like how often is your opponent bluffing with this line taken? Like never.
Yeah, I think that is actually the big problem with checking ace king. It's like not only are you missing value, but also like you probably are betting like literally
Yeah, you're probably
literally any unpaired hand. So
100%. That's the problem with like it's just too transparent. And it's like it worked. It worked. Like he called with a hand that he called 2 streets with a hand that would have folded to if you would have bet flop bet turn or like bet flop whatever like assuming that card didn't fall or something like that. But it's just like really torches the rest of your range. Like king queens and queen jacks and all these hands want to bet the flop. So you need ace king in there. All right, this no.
You got to call there
No,
the way Daniel's playing.
No.
Yeah.
I know, but I was looking at Daniel and I just
No. No, no, no. Just like these are the spots I'm talking about, John. This is where you're gonna improve. Like if you want to get to the top, you need to call there. Like you're in position versus someone that you are playing much better than today, and he is weak. He's doesn't feel well. Like get in there. Like stop it. I like this bet by Daniel. I know you guys don't like it, but I think it's good.
I don't like the call by Matt here. I think if it was a monotone board, I'd like the call a lot better. But I think we just want to start building a pot and get
So at this
get
point,
value from draws.
For
Yeah,
Daniel,
check.
I like the check. I don't mind. I don't mind betting on the flop to get value from Jack X.
Nice. No, easy fold for you, Daniel. Easy fold.
One of the worst cards in the deck.
Yeah. Check.
Oh,
Just
Matt.
check.
I don't get why Matt is checking here.
Don't fall for
Yeah, I
that.
don't know.
Daniel. Don't fall for that.
It's a bad check, yeah.
'Cause he's
He's-
never checking back, or he's never.
He's
you
never
know,
calling a jack. He's never
He's never
folding an
checking
ace.
back a flush draw or king queen. So
Yeah.
you're good. You're good. You're just always good.
And there's so many hands that have shown value here, they're just going to check back.
Don't. No.
I
just
think,
just have a hand spasm and check.
trying to see if we can get a better angle on his hands.
Oh no. Like you don't
This
even.
is
have...
This feels like it must be.
This
thin
is the
value.
problem. Okay, so this has to be.
No, this
Oh,
is
it's-
a bluff.
This is a bluff.
You don't.
Yeah.
Worse is this size. You should just call.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give a warning now, because I think maybe what I'm saying is like causing issues. You need to be really good, like really, fundamentally a very good hand reader, to be able to be in the merge. Because if you're gonna do that, then just check back the flop. Just like play your hand more straightforwardly, and don't like you have to be very in tune with what are your good hands to bluff, when are you uncapped, what do you rep, all these things. Most of your spade combinations are double barreling. Most of your king queens are double barreling. So when you're repping, what are you repping on the river when you land there? You're repping exactly 10-10.
Yeah.
So when you're repping exactly 10-10, yes, your thought process was correct in terms of like going massive. However, you really don't have any flushes. So your opponent can turn some like ace X with a spade into a bluff as a rebluff. That's probably a decent candidate to rebluff you with, since he can't call.
Yeah.
And these are all things that you need to kind of have in your mind before you, like, for you to be able to be more in this merge mindset. And so like just think about these things, like really think about like what you're trying to accomplish and things like that, and like what are your combinations, because that hand made no sense. And I'm gonna give you a pass because I know you don't feel well right now, like, so just when you don't feel well but you're still in a good game, you need to just like tone it down. You need to just chill, just like make hands, wait till you feel a little better, and you'll be fine.
So moving on to this hand here, looks like Janny check called with the ace-4 of spades on a 7-deuce-8 with one spade board, and I just think that should be a check fold on the flop. I do like the call pre-flop against Patrick exploitatively as opposed to 3-betting in the spot. And then when the king comes on the turn, yeah, I think Patrick should be betting again, and he did, and Danny folds. But I think Danny just needs to be folding this flop. He's gonna have much better hands to defend with.
Yeah.
I missed the whole hand because I was talking
Yeah.
about my man
Yeah,
Daniel
yeah,
over
yeah.
there. Sorry.
And I totally agree with you, Christian. I'll say in Daniel's defense, like, he might also feel like he can have ace-10 there.
Sure, but like
But
the
it's
real,
still-
but the
it's-
real nut hands he doesn't have,
Yeah.
like king queen or spades.
Right. And so I mean, like, yeah, I don't like it.
Right.
I'm just trying to running out there.
Yeah, maybe he could have ace 10, but like that's
Yeah,
still not a
it's
hand that
still
should be
not a hand I
betting.
would be betting
Right.
over betting.
Right, correct.
No,
But I also just want to,
So I'm
not
saying,
so much Daniel's defense on this hand, but just like give him some respect for going for these
played-
spots.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and he played great yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
This is
No, that's what I said. I don't
yeah,
think he's
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
well.
I
Like
think we don't think that.
I really don't think he is. Like he just
So these are not what people's hands
yeah,
are.
hands are still off. Oh, we got the beers coming. We got the blue moon.
guess who got the first one.
The big winner.
Guess who got the second one. Man,
Oh, Ronald. Little chip trick there.
John, you need to call that King 10 off. Like, what are you doing? Dude? Like I called you like an alpha reg. That's not an alpha reg fold. Like, did you see what he just did on the river, dude?
Yeah.
Like, and you folded a Broadway cans?
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, dude. Alpha reg? I'm gonna take that back, dude. Yo, Mark, what's up? Apex Predator. Mark is my favorite again. He's in
He's
it.
back in the good graces.
Yeah,
After
he's
just like the weakest tens check back.
Yeah. Mark is
back on top.
Mark is back. Mark is back. The power rankings shifted after that fold. It also is nice to see Mark with some aces.
He's dangerous with aces.
His value hands are really dangerous. Alright, let's see how this pans out. So, oh, what a dream. Huh. I would
Let's just make it 20 maybe.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
make it a little
smaller.
I would make it a little smaller there, but I'm nitpicking. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like you really want him to
I don't mind the grid. I don't mind the grid.
As long as
I don't mind the
as
grid.
long as you don't check.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
Get
like
greedy.
let's see what I want to see Mark just like I don't know what I want to see from Mark. He plays really good, man. I like what I saw. Like I like the ace jack off 3-bet. I like a lot of what I see from him. Ceiling's really high. Danny, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I doubted you. You showed me up. I like the cold 4-bet. I actually really like the cold 4-bet now. I think it's better for you right now at this stage in your career to cold 4-bet there than flat. I think you'll play better in that game tree than you would as a flat. So that's fine. I also think that. Whoa.
So it looks like John is 3-betting 5x out of position with a 9-7 suited.
I like this.
And especially against Daniel as an exploit with how Lucy's playing, I like it. I think 5-4 off when you have a straddle, you have Mark in the straddle, you have John big, just fold,
I think Daniel's just like really pissed you got him sick. Like this is what's happening. Like he's just really mad. He's really intense too, man.
He's an intense guy. We did a session together at Foxwoods earlier in the
Wow,
summer.
is this gonna happen? What is going on? Wow,
It's a flat?
this is
This
crazy.
can't be flat, right?
This is crazy.
No, it's not a flat.
No flat. Daniel takes it down.
Oh, I think you got to show it when you're like 20-30 minutes left and you pull that off.
Especially when it's on camera.
Yeah, I mean, let's just
Everyone's gonna see it.
let's just block some of his bluffs and leave him more into the value portion of his range.
Yeah, it's a really.
Let's just block ace 5 and ace 4 and like hope that he just has kings. Yeah, Daniel, I don't know what's going on, man. You're obviously not feeling like it's clear that the allergy has gotten to your brain, and I'm just joking, man. Yeah, you're not feeling well, man, but you need to rein it in. Like you need to rein it in. This doesn't end well, and if you get stacked tomorrow, you're gonna wish you just got up from the game and said you were sick. So if you're not gonna get up from the game, just rein it in. Just understand. Like, what logical reason did you have to just 4-bet there? Like, how mad would you have been if he just 5-bet shoved? Think about that.
So yeah, session's ending soon. Daniel's being active a lot. Patrick sees an opportunity where he can play a hand, and I think he's gonna take it. Maybe come in for a 3-bet. Oh, good discipline, Patrick. Good discipline.
Mark.
So I think this is a spot where you want to value raise here against Daniel, given how active he is. Normally I would just flat, but I think I want to make
I don't
it
know,
like
because
60.
you know, if you're not gonna call the
This guy might just go off.
if you're not gonna
though.
call the 4-bet, like
I guess it's a little deep to get stacks in.
yeah, I would just. I'm happy playing. I think this hand's gonna play pretty well.
But I'm just
out of
stacking a
position.
10 all day long. If I see a 10 on this flop, well, you're a very lucky guy, Daniel. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. I mean, these are people are getting real active, but you know, these are parts of like these. This is what happens. Like, people get active. People's emotions change. They're and like they start going crazy, and like you know, they're playing for money here. So this is like a very normal casino environment. I do like Daniel's bet here.
It is a very normal casino environment.
Yeah.
In that sense. Matt with a quick call.
I think that Daniel should give up.
Daniel should
Yeah.
certainly give
I think
up.
flop is definitely questionable, but once you get called, you got to give up.
He does give up. Does not improve. We still don't know what Matt has. I like the check from Matt with a lot of hands. Given how active Daniel's been.
I would still give this up. I would.
Like,
Daniel's just too active.
This is like the worst, you know. What are you repping Daniel that didn't bet turn that now is going to bet this deuce? I guess, I mean, what you could rep is thin value, but
right. You're
You rep
repping
like
like
the-
Queen Jack.
or 9x.
Yeah. Yeah, Ace 9. Yeah, good check.
Looks like Matt had 8-9. Yeah, I think Matt needs to be doing some
If
more
he had 8-9,
leading
then
out.
maybe I would maybe bet it. I don't know.
One of the decisions, like when you land on the river with some like high value, right, is can you check raise? And here, you probably can't check raise that hand that often. So you're more incentivized to just have that in your bet category, and then like have some like stronger hands to check raise sometimes.
I mean, you are gonna want to bluff, like.
Right, yeah.
That's not-
You're gonna want to bluff sometimes, like
So yeah, you need to have some
like
leads.
King Jack. You're gonna want to bluff King Jack there,
Yeah.
right? So you need to have some bets, and 8-9 is a good one. Yes. Yes. Damn it. All right, Matt, just call. What?
And that's part of why I like the sizing from John. It's like,
Just 3-bet too sometimes.
Yeah, if
like
you
it's
can-
fine to 3-bet the 8-6 off there at some frequency, not all the time. Very very low frequency probably. But I don't think you should fold.
For that sizing, no, you definitely
No.
should. You should complete there. You're gonna have
Yeah.
more than enough equity against his range. But you know, I think if you're trying to push yourself and improve, you should be calling there. But I also respect someone like Matt maybe being like, you know what, I know my limits. I know that John's a good player on the button,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna avoid this spot and fold
yeah,
away my little bit of EV
concede a little.
pre-flop and probably save myself more post-flop.
Yeah.
The problem is, you know, then you maybe take it too far with some better hands, but I don't think it's too big of a mistake to fold the 8-6, but obviously I would defend in that spot for just $4 more.
You also don't want to make it like too easy on. That also creates like a really interesting dynamic though between Mark and John, because if Mark knows that Matt's over folding, now he feels the need to defend.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, right. In both ways.
In both ways, through
Yeah,
like more calling and more 3-betting.
I think we've seen throughout, you know, Mark, he's done it twice, I think, you know, raising John's button raises.
Yeah, with in the merge.
Yeah.
Just open, John. Yes, yes. All right, you're getting back. You're getting back to my graces, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, and this is one of those hands where I think it can, you know, go either way, but maybe.
I think it's a layup open on Patrick's big blind.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When you have Patrick in the big blind.
Patrick straddle, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also
straddle.
it's also the spot where you're gonna get least resistance from Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a really good spot for him to find loose opens.
And you got a button who hasn't been like an abusive button by any means.
Yeah.
I could go either way. I'll probably just one and done this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. Like, it sucks because like you have kind of low equity, but when you turn a queen or a 10, it's a dream.
Patrick's not full in the gut shot
Yeah, just fold. Actually, Patrick should be leading here at some frequency.
Yep. I think we're gonna see a check back by John.
Yeah, he should. He should.
He knows it's not a good card for him.
You like Patrick leading the turn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at some frequency. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
River's a 9. Okay, it's like not unreasonable for you to call with Queen High sometimes. Okay, fine, whatever. Like you do beat some bluffs here. 6-7, 8-7, 8-6. I mean, come on.
The thing is, I
bro.
think Patrick is more likely to bluff with king highs.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't say I was gonna call. I said it's not. I said it's not unreasonable for him to
Fair.
do it. Like I would have just snap fold. Like I would have been like, really, dude? You just have it? Okay, all right. Tank a little bit. Tank a little bit. Tank a little bit. Fold. Yeah, it just sucks when he shows you like king 3. And you're just like, god damn.
That's good.
Okay, lost the pot. Back with the hoodie on, the mouth. Still very well played by John there. I would have liked to see a little bit of a tank on the river because it's like, come on, man, everything missed. You still have. It's not unreasonable. Like I think he would have tanked with ace high, for sure. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, well, what's kind of the difference? You're still calling because of the same bricks.
Well,
The difference is just the
Yeah,
king,
yeah.
the that maybe.
The difference
Maybe
is enough
Patrick's
that it's
bluffing with
probably a
ace
fold.
high.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Patrick maybe even could be bluffing with like a 2. Like you
Yeah,
just don't,
yeah,
Patrick has
yeah.
a very wide range. When
Right.
he's calling
Very
straddle.
reasonable. Very
Yeah.
reasonable. Okay, Mark should start with a bet. Start with a bet. Your hand turns well. Shake off equity. I think Mark's gonna play 5-10 before like in a very soon time. My opinion. Like I don't know
I know Mark
what
already played
stakes
some
he.
5-10 in
Okay,
at
cool.
the Jack. And
Well,
Mark,
when the 5-10 runs at
that's a
Jack
little
in
bit of a
Cleveland,
different game. Yeah.
it's a fucking amazing game.
Okay.
So.
Okay, Danny check
Yeah.
calls flop. Floats flop.
Yeah, this is just.
This is aggro, man.
I don't like it. This is just such
It's
like.
too, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like
maybe
if
Jack
there was
in
a
a
heart on
club,
board.
or-
But I
Yeah.
will say this: Danny's looking for spots to fight, and even though his implementation is not smooth, I'm okay with his mindset. Like he's peeling Jack 8 on the button. Okay, defending his button deep.
It's a good instinct. He understands.
And-
he's
yeah.
using
For the
position-
value rate.
Right.
Or not the
And-
straight.
And it's like flops 10-3-5.
Yeah.
All right, if you want to continue here, your hand doesn't really turn that well, so maybe we should just like raise,
Yeah.
at some frequency. Like if you think, if you think that Mark is like over c-betting this board texture, then just raise, and like you'll have much more clarity moving forward if you bet calls, and yeah, like losing that pot there when the turn is a 10 is like kind of annoying.
It's also interesting that Mark identified that even on a card that's typically one of your worst barrel cards, this might work against Danny.
Right,
You
because
know?
Mark identified that he's probably peeling wide.
Exactly. Yeah, and I want to give Mark credit for that.
For sure. For sure.
Well, yeah, Danny. I mean, like a lot of these people we've seen them both between like the last stream if they participated in the event in March or April, or then people that we know kind of from the Cleveland area. People are improving pretty quick. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Dan-
really good.
Danny started getting more into poker just like a little over a year ago, and now he's holding his own and crushing this tough 6-max game.
This is one of the tougher games you'll find.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're seeing Patrick get in there with a hand.
Okay, it's about to go off. We got
I think Daniel's gonna unload his.
we got the
I think
flush draw. Versus,
I think Patrick should just like lead on flop. The reason being like his hand doesn't perform well as a check raise, doesn't perform well as a check call,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
still has like decent equity, and he has like a significant, not range advantage, but it's like range kind of neutral on this board. But this would just be like part of his like pulled leading range, and it's really hard to balance it. I think that
Oh.
wow, this is wild.
So I think Daniel definitely needs to be betting the flop here.
Yeah,
when
it
you
sounds
raise
like
4
he
deuce
is
suited
gonna
and you
check.
flop a flush draw, you gotta bet it. And then we see a pretty quick bet call from Patrick, who just like, what the hell is Daniel repping? And
Uh,
I wouldn't
I
be
guess-
surprised to see a 10 high call from Patrick.
No. Wow.
Daniel's not gonna like what he sees there. The 10 high call.
That's so vicious.
That being, I mean, there's a lot of equity in like making a 10 high call correctly on stream. Let's see what Patrick is saying on the call.
You know what he had?
4 high.
We both had 3 4.
I've seen this. I saw
Wow.
somebody turn over 6
Call
high.
his
and it
hand
was
out.
Good.
3-4.
Who messaged him?
I don't even know. I was the
How did he
strangest.
know
This
that?
was 4 high.
It was
This
the
is
strangest
hilarious.
thing I've ever seen in my life. Like,
That's what happens when you have a severe disease.
John's thinking he should have called now.
Yeah.
Wow, that was insane.
Yeah.
How did he know?
He just knew.
But it's like a lot of things where it's, you know, you get it wrong, you lose $40, you get it right, and you're like, I made a 10 high call. That being said, I don't want to disparage, you know,
That's Stu Unger on our table, right?
Patrick's read there, where he sees like the instant raise on the turn after he checked back the flop, and he's just like, you don't have a jack here. You're not like thinly value raising me with second pair. You would have bet that on
Oh
the flop.
God.
Wow, what just happened? This is so
Yeah.
insane. Wow, Daniel was not folding this hand. Daniel's not folding this hand, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way.
No, I
There's
think
just
he's-
absolutely no way.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna
Nor
make...
I mean, nor should he against Patrick.
Man, we're about
I
to
don't
see.
know. Not what he wanted to see on the flop. He's got the backdoor flush draw.
Just bet, stay uncapped. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fold.
That being said, exploitatively against Daniel in this spot, I think Ace King is a decent hand to include in a check back range where it's just like
Yeah, for sure. He
I-
just bluffed you with 4 high. Maybe.
Yeah.
He might
Yeah,
just try again.
it's
I
also
get
Ace,
that,
Ace
yeah.
King is, you know, it's on this board in a 3-bet pot. It's really not a 3-street hand.
Oh no,
you
for
know?
sure. Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot actually.
Agreed. I just think like you're betting all your aces, you're betting all your queens, so like just have some.
Well, I don't know if you're betting all your queens. I don't think you should bet all your queens there on Ace Queen 10.
You get value from like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10,
You mean pocket queens?
pocket queens.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Oh, I
Oh
thought.
no,
like
pocket
king
queens,
queen,
pocket
like,
queens,
let's say
pocket
king
queens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're definitely
Yeah.
betting your pocket queens.
king queen feels like a solid check back.
Yeah.
Man, Patrick getting hit with the deck. Rewarded.
Yeah.
Rewarded for the 10 high call. Now John is gonna. Oh man, John didn't get it. Okay. Against someone that might call me with 10 high, I think I could go either way. I'll probably throw this in a 3-bet against Patrick.
Yeah, I think like given what we've seen from Patrick, I like 3-betting.
That check was really fast. Oh yeah, I knew it. It felt weird. It felt really weird. I didn't even see the board yet. It was like you need to be a little bit more mindful, Matt, of like some tells.
Go to yeah.
I didn't see the board, but you snap checked that flop. It just felt like you had it. You didn't even get a barrel off king queen there. Maybe Patrick doesn't barrel a lot there, but just be mindful. Like just be like if I picked it up that quick and I didn't see the board, that's kind of annoying.
Patrick gave himself a little pat on the back there.
He showed. Nice
yeah,
roll.
10 minutes left.
They sent her a commentary though, right?
Talk about my commentary, bro.
At least the viewers on Twitch fans.
Yeah.
One of the few things I got applause for yesterday was just mucking aces in a spot where everybody fold. You know, I raise, everybody folds. Alright, that's
Yeah,
all
we gave him
it
credit for not
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
everyone he had a good
Yeah.
hand, and today we're not giving him
takes. Real
credit
bad.
for telling
Right,
everyone.
because like say that
I'd
Patrick picked up what I picked up,
Yeah.
and now you tell him. Now
Yeah.
he has a clear live tell on you, and you don't even know that that's what he picked up because it's just like kind of subconscious.
Yeah, these guys both playing games in the city. They might cross each other again. You know, it's
Mhm.
like that. I'm always surprised with
Dude,
like.
you know how many? Sorry to cut you off. One last thing.
Yeah.
You know how many times I take a picture of someone and then send it to somebody who say, "Hey, you know this guy?" And then like I get like reads and like tendencies of these players. Like you don't know when
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
someone's gonna like take a photo of you and then they tell their friend like, "Yeah, bro, when he snap checks the flop, he has a nuts."
I think that's a pretty good
Yeah.
population read against weaker players. You know,
Yeah.
snap check.
What were you saying before I cut you off?
I was just saying, like, you just really never know who you're going to play against. And, like, I have a really good memory for faces. If I've played poker with you, even years ago once, I'll certainly remember your face. Probably any notable hands we played together. So I've never lived in Vegas. I've played a bunch of sessions there. I'll play with you. I'll remember from 2 years ago we played that. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
You'd be surprised what people know, and then or not, or then people send pictures or like.
Board was ace king king there. I think Daniel should just like
Yeah.
c-bet 100% range on that board for unit like often, and like
Yeah.
it's just for protection, especially with sevens.
That's definitely a board when I think having a 100% betting range makes a lot of sense. But if we're gonna do that, I think
You could down bet.
yeah, I think our size should be like a little under half pot.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, for sure.
So last few hands here.
John, that king 10. Jesus.
It does not take much to fall out of your good graces. You missed one bet.
It's because I can't give you so much props, and then you just like, come on, man. I put you in the Predators. Okay, Danny, I would like to see you flat. I think that's cool.
Especially with Daniel in the big blind, the way he's playing. He has not folded yet.
I think match a call.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he will. This is
He's not folding.
It's the end of the stream.
This is one of the no. I don't
I
mean
think
that.
he would have folded this
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, exactly. This is what we talked about.
Yeah.
This is what he watched the stream. He and I discussed it in our debrief. And
This is a tough hand for Danny.
I think
This
this
is
is
a
a
tough
good hand, I think, to bet once. Like, with some of my ace X's, no hearts, I like maybe check calling, but...
Ace X no spade even.
Yeah,
Ace
sorry.
X.
But with Queen Jack, I think just, like, bet once, clean up your equity, and just basically just one and done it if you don't improve.
yeah, you just don't want to be bluff catching too much. Like,
Yeah, on this board.
I think it's better to bet when you don't have a spade.
yeah, that's what. Yeah. that's
Yeah,
Oh, is that what you
saying.
said? Yeah. With an ace though.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, okay,
say,
cool.
like, Queen Jack is not strong enough, I think, to check call when you're
Right.
deep against someone, but, like,
Right.
you know, ace 4 of diamonds is,
Right.
even though it's not.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. So what I would warn, Danny there is, what kind of hands do you think compose the majority of Matt's raise call range, right? I think for the most part, what Matt feels comfortable with calling there are like strong broadways. So Queen Jack doesn't necessarily perform well against those kind of hands out of position. So when you touch equity, he's going to touch equity a very large percentage of the time, and we're in trouble. So that's not necessarily a hand I would use there. That's why I keep telling you guys, like, just be pulled out of position. Always. In position, much easier. They fold equity. It's a lot harder for them to continue with equity out of position, and they're over folding. And you just lose less pots. Like, you lose less big pots.
And to nitpick a little bit about Danny's sizing, he bet like pot on that flop. I think you just need to be betting smaller. Like, you're not going to be getting an ace to fold.
Yeah, like half flop.
Yeah.
This
John value bets.
Daniel is super oi right now.
Yeah, I think
Daniel is gonna raise.
I mean, I think Daniel should raise.
Yeah, I think he absolutely should raise.
Yeah, this is a great raising candidate. He has no showdown value. He has a gut shot. He has a flush draw.
Oh, what? So he's in the big blind? He's in the small blind.
Yeah.
Okay, I think John should find some free bets on the flop.
Yeah.
He's dominating a lot of draws. His opponent doesn't have that many two pair combinations.
Yep.
The 8 and the 6 are offsuit, so he only has 2 combos of 2 pair. If he runs into a set, he runs into a set, but he's dominating draws. And like
Yeah.
his opponent
Value
will
raise, yeah.
will be like check raise calling those same draws, and he's dead. You're not an Apex Predator.
I think that's a raise.
No, it's a call.
Just
Yeah.
understand combos. Like, you guys really need to understand combos a little bit better. He doesn't have that much value. He has the majority of his range is comprised of draws. So you dominate. And like the times you're wrong and he just has a set, like, so be it, dude. Like, you have a flush draw. Don't be afraid of getting it in. Like, let's go. Like, there's too much conservative play.
That I don't think Daniel should continue here. This is just a very bad card to barrel.
I don't know.
Right.
I would.
He doesn't have that many.
Thing
Like,
is-
he doesn't have it.
If I'm Daniel, I might be check raising some ace.
Yeah, but now you've knocked out your 2-pair combinations significantly. You've knocked out your set combinations a decent amount, and you are already repping draw. So it's like just check. Your opponent's checking back at a very high frequency.
So I'm curious when a brick river comes.
What a dream.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Daniel, if you get to the spot this way, I think you have to bet. You know, really try to get like kings, queens, jacks to fold.
Yeah.
I think John will just have a very easy call.
Yeah. The thought that John could have just got it all.
Yeah. So I think the only reason John hasn't snapped is because he was briefly thinking about a value raise.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of value in there.
Yeah.
I think he's completely right. Ha! You saw that face? You saw that face? Like I could have got it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw that face? Yeah. Don't worry, bro. I got it. Yeah, just. Yeah, he's like, God damn it. I could have got it all.
Is that it?
I think we might have a couple more hands. I texted our floor person to call it soon.
I would definitely not bluff 10-9 of spades on that river ever.
Yeah.
Spades bricked. You want your opponent to have spades, not you. You rep extremely thin in that spot. Your opponent, like, think about the hands you're trying to get to fold. Like you're trying to get like jacks through kings to fold. You're just not folding, dude. Like you don't rep enough value. So that's a spot where I would exploitatively give up a lot of my bluffs. And
you don't think you'd have nut? I mean, like I think nut flush draw, backdoor nut flush draw, like
nut flush draw fills. I made an ace.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
No, so you're saying that
I wouldn't bluff on the river.
you're saying you wouldn't value bet the.
Oh, I would bet the river with an ace.
So what I'm saying
So
is
you're just saying as an exploit, just give up.
I would give up my bluffs, but if I made an ace, I would bet the river.
Yeah. So what I think is that like Daniel should be giving up on most rivers as played, but when he hits the ace river, I think he should be bluffing.
I think you get called. Like I don't think John's folding 2 queens on the river.
Yeah, I guess game flow wise, just very exploitatively, just like folding, just like check folding.
I think you rep. I think you. The reason you're getting called is because your opponent is putting you on these hands, like 9-7, 10-9, like all these draws. I don't think like queens are folding the river even on an ace. I think that's why when you have the ace river, like you bet, you expect to get called. You know. So I would like. That's like a spot where I would like way under bluff, because I just realized just how many combos of draws I'm perceived to have, and I expect a call at a very high frequency.
Yeah.
So like I would just like not bluff. Like I would just like I think we print by under bluffing there, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I think they've played. I think everyone's played like pretty well, like today.
Yeah.
I really like the dynamics today. Danny's really impressed me, man. Like he has played. I thought it was a little shaky in the beginning, but he's shown that he's willing to fight, and like, it's easy. It's nice to pick up hands too, like and yeah, man, like he has good potential. Like one more hour.
No.
I'm sweating up here, guys.
One more hand.
Yeah,
we've a little over 4 hours now. The thing is, it looks like 30 is just way too big. Just like 6xing it. But let's see what happens in the last hand. But yeah, I'm definitely impressed by Matt, who took yesterday's commentary to heart, and I think brought a much better game today.
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to get discouraged when you're losing, but like just remember the reasons why you're here. It's not really to win or lose at a rando 1-2 game in your life. It's more to like pick up experience against tough players, kind of go through the commentary and see what happens. Patrick with the nuts.
Definitely size up here if you're Patrick.
The last hand.
Look at John. He's just loving this right now.
He is loving this.
This feels nutted. Is he gonna limp? What is going on? Are you gonna shove?
All of it.
I knew it.
Nice.
He just shoves.
Yeah, this is just this is not gonna work against these players.
Yeah, they're too disciplined. They're not gonna convince themselves to call.
What do you do with like queens if you're just like Mark for
Call.
1,000?
Call, I think. Okay.
Alright, gentlemen, thank you very much for playing.
So, yeah, we'll do our debriefs now. Twitch audience, thanks so much for tuning in. For anyone watching this later on YouTube, appreciate you making it to the end.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Yeah, this is pretty strong. I really like today's game. I really like the analysis you guys brought in today.
Christian,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It was a
It's a lot
pleasure.
of fun. Looking
Yeah, it's a
forward
lot
to
of
more
fun.
stuff with our new
New partnership.
Yeah, new
New
partnership.
partnership.
Solve
Yeah,
for
it should
why.
be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see our faces or at least our voices together again at some point.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. Our
Forward to
voices.
meeting the finals of the Heads Up Challenge.
Oh shit! Wow, I guess you're like a heads up specialist. I think Mark has something to say about that.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for joining us. It was a ton of fun. It was long
Yeah.
and much more fun for Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny.
What a nice hourly,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Until next time.
Great call.
Which one do you mean? I don't think.
The H4.
Oh, okay.
They're really meditating on that last hand there. They're just like debating whether it was a good shot or not.
What did you fold?
What did I fold in the last hand?
Yeah.
8-9 offsuit.
Oh yeah, it's a good fold.
That's a good fold. Yeah, that's a good fold.
What?
It was a good fold for
That's a
sure.
good fold, yeah. Unless you just weren't
No,
reaction.
I mean, hilarious. Yeah.
So you're driving back to tonight, right?
Yeah.
So after you handle
I don't know like exactly what his. I think he was, well, I mean, 900. I don't know what his
Can't do that drive without eating, so I'll stick around for
No, I
dinner.
don't think he probably a little wider than that.
Queen's about 7+.
I would call it 8. I don't know. I would call it 8 for sure.
You call my all-in range?
Would you call with king queen offsuit?
No. No, I don't think so. But I don't think it would be that bad. I just don't have that much gamble in me.